Phoenix Nights. Chapter 2603. The heavenly drum sounded, shaking the surroundings. Countless experts quickly flew in the direction of the heaven boundary monuments. When the experts arrived and saw Lin Feng's illusory figure imprinted on the heaven boundary monuments, they were deeply shocked. A hazy illusory figure stood on top of the heaven boundary monuments. It was as if he was looking down on all the mountains. Below him were countless powerful existences that could shock the world and make ghosts and gods weep. The scene in front of them deeply shocked everyone. It made everyone turn pale with fright and disbelief. Who is it? His talent is actually so heaven-defying. Countless cultivators murmured. However, no one knew who that mysterious person was. This matter was enough to cause a huge commotion. In this era where cultivation was declining, such a peerless genius had actually appeared. Could it be that this person wanted to rely on the opportunity of the epic change to become a peerless expert? Investigate. We must find out who that person is. I hope he's a cultivator from our myriad races. If he's not, we must kill him. Otherwise, he'll definitely become a huge threat in the future. The experts of the myriad races communicated through their divine wills. They were very anxious. They wanted to know who that person standing on top of the heaven boundary monuments was. I hope he's a cultivator from 9 prefectures. The upper echelons of many forces in 9 prefectures also sent people to investigate. They wanted to know who that person was. Many cultivators from other races also sent people to investigate this matter. This matter was enough to cause a huge commotion. It was too shocking. That person's potential had already surpassed the 4 overlords of primordial chaos, the Sovereign Emperor clan's founder, and the others. If he could continue to grow smoothly, he would be able to do so. Everyone knew that this person would definitely become an extremely heaven-defying existence. He might even become the Epic Lord. Not everyone wanted to see such a thing happen. At this moment, Lin Feng was already far away from that area. Now, he had discovered the secret of his body. Moreover, it was a huge secret. It seemed like there was an even more terrifying power hibernating in his body. That power was not the power contained in the Sovereign Emperor blood, or the Undying God blood. It was a third mysterious power. Lin Feng did not know if the third power was a bloodline power, but Lin Feng knew that this power was too heaven-defying. The reason why he was able to display such a powerful talent was related to the third power. The third power quickly disappeared. Lin Feng could not find out where that power was hibernating in his body. He searched his dantian but to no avail. Lin Feng knew that the strength hadn't awakened yet. The reason why it had appeared before was because it was too strong. Perhaps it was related to the heaven boundary monuments. The power contained within his body made Lin Feng excited and yet worried. He was excited because this power was abnormally strong and terrifying. If he could control it, he would be able to defy the heavens. Lin Feng was worried because he didn't know that strength. When faced with an unfamiliar situation, people would always feel a little worried. Lin Feng was no exception, but in general, he was in a good mood because he had such a powerful strength lying dormant in his body. Of course, Lin Feng also knew that no matter how powerful one's talent was, it was still just talent. There were too many cultivators with shocking talent in the world. However, due to various reasons, they could not mature. Therefore, even though Lin Feng knew of his heaven-defying talent, he would not become arrogant because of it. Moreover, his current cultivation level was not enough to look down on all the cultivators in the world. Many older cultivators were still extremely heaven-defying. If he dared to underestimate them, death would be the only path. The southern immortal devil realm was extremely huge. Lin Feng flew towards the depths. 3 days later, he heard a piece of news. A lake appeared in front of him. There seemed to be a cave in the depths of the lake. Many people were heading towards that place. They wanted to open the cave and see if there were any shocking treasures inside. After hearing this, Lin Feng also flew towards the lake. By the time he arrived, there were already thousands of cultivators gathered. There were cultivators from the 10,000 races, the human race, and many alien cultivators. "Lin Feng is here," said someone who recognized Lin Feng in a low voice. Many people were looking at him. This was especially so for the cultivators of the 10,000 races. They looked at Lin Feng with cold gazes. Divine light surged in the distance as a man stepped out. He was an exceptionally handsome man. He was shrouded in divine light, looking like a god. Shen Daotian. It was actually him. He was a powerhouse of the ancient god tribe, one of the heaven-defying geniuses of the 10,000 races. Lin Feng had seen him before. Boom! In another direction, a terrifying aura spread out. Another powerhouse had arrived. It was a valiant man. His face was cold, and his eyes shone with a cold light. He had a pair of huge blood-red wings. Ling Qianye of the blood-winged heavenly wolf tribe! Many people exclaimed. He was also an extremely terrifying existence. He was on the same level as Shen Daotian, one of the heaven-defying geniuses of the 10,000 races. Looks like this place has attracted quite a lot of people. A coquettish laughter came from afar. A woman with 18 pairs of wings flew over. This woman was dressed in a black veil. Her face was so beautiful that it could take one's breath away. Nalan Hanwe of the Fallen Angel Tribe. Someone recognized the woman's identity. She was also extraordinary. Her talent was also heaven-defying. She was one of the top geniuses of the Fallen Angel Tribe. The Fallen Angel Tribe was a special tribe. It was said that they originally belonged to the Fallen Angel Tribe. However, for some unknown reason, they committed a grave mistake and were banished by the Fallen Angel Tribe. Furthermore, the wings of the Fallen Angel Tribe were black. They seemed to be incompatible with the white wings of the Fallen Angel Tribe. After being banished, the Fallen Angel Tribe became the archenemy of the Fallen Angel Tribe. These two factions were like fire and water. The 10,000 races were like this. They had never truly united. There were all sorts of conflicts within the 10,000 races. Of course, when the 10,000 races faced the outside factions, they were still extremely united. 3 powerhouses have arrived. I wonder if they will kill Lin Feng? Some cultivators of the 10,000 races asked. They were looking forward to the 3 powerhouses killing Lin Feng. Now, Lin Feng was the public enemy of the 10,000 races. The cultivators of the 10,000 clans wanted to cut Lin Feng into 1,000 pieces. After Shen Daotian, Ling Qianye, and Nalan Hanwe arrived, someone told them that Lin Feng was also here. Then, someone pointed at Lin Feng. However, the 3 of them did not make a move. This made the cultivators of the myriad races extremely disappointed. How's the situation in the cave? Shen Daotian asked. Chapter 2604. Shen Daotian nodded and flew toward the cave dwelling in the depths of the lake. The cave dwelling was at the bottom of the lake. A few waves of cultivators had already gone down to break the formation, but they had all failed. All the cultivators who had failed had died at the bottom of the lake, so the lake was very quiet now. No one wanted to go down to break the formation. Moreover, the bottom of the lake was very dangerous. Ordinary cultivators didn't dare to go down rashly. Someone touched the formation below, so some of the formations in the lake were activated. If you go down rashly, you'll be in trouble, said Shen Daotian. Let's go down and take a look, said Ling Qianye. I hope there's something good inside, said Nalan Hanwe. Shen Daotian, Ling Qianye, and Nalan Hanwe were very strong. They weren't afraid of the formation at the bottom of the lake, so they went down directly. Let's go and take a look too, some of the more powerful cultivators said. They also had amazing methods that could neutralize the formation's attack. The group of cultivators also went down, but most of them stayed outside. It was very dangerous down there, and they didn't want to take the risk. They were waiting for an opportunity. If the formation was broken, they could enter the cave dwelling below. They might be able to gain something. Lin Feng also went down to the bottom of the lake. The further down he went, the colder it became. He couldn't help but frown. The coldness was very strange. There's a large amount of yin qi gathered here, said Lin Feng. His facial expression was grave and solemn. It's already formed a place of extreme mean. This place is very dangerous, said the Demon Lord. He also had a premonition that this place was very dangerous. Finally, Lin Feng arrived at the bottom of the lake. He saw a huge cave dwelling. It was covered in dense restrictions and black fog. The cave dwelling was faintly discernible. This is a place of extreme mean. It's very dangerous, but it's also a place of great fortune, said Nalin Hanwei. It's like that. This place is worth our effort, said Ling Qianye. Then let's do it. If the three of us work together, we can break this formation, said Shen Daotian. He was very strong. Not only did he have a strong cultivation, but he also knew many secret techniques and immortal techniques. He also had a very deep understanding of formations. In fact, it wasn't just Shen Daotian. Ling Qianye and Nalin Hanwei were the same. How else could they be described as heaven-defying monsters? The so-called heaven-defying level was not just about having a powerful cultivation base. He was also extremely proficient in many auxiliary professions, such as formations, pills, refining, and so on. No problem. Ling Qianye and Nalin Hanwei nodded. The three of them walked towards the array. The three of them are working together to break the formation. This formation will definitely be broken. Once the formation is broken, we will make our move immediately. Although they can break the formation, the opportunity may not be theirs. Some cultivators were whispering to their companions. These people also wanted to fight for the treasures in the cave. These people's thoughts were actually quite reasonable. Many opportunities could not be obtained just because one was strong. It all depended on luck. This place is extremely dangerous. Once it's opened, I'm afraid some unexpected and terrifying things will happen. I advise everyone to give up, Lin Feng said. If we cultivators are always overcautious when doing things, our achievements will definitely be limited, Ling Qianye said with an indifferent expression. He could not help but reveal a trace of contempt when he looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows slightly and did not say anything more. These three people had obviously made up their minds to open the cave. He could not dissuade them. Lin Feng stood in the distance and watched. He did not get too close. If a huge danger really appeared, it would be too late to hide even if they wanted to. There were also more than a dozen human cultivators who stood in the distance and watched like Lin Feng. They felt that Lin Feng would not speak without thinking. They were also very cautious. However, most of them had a sneer on their faces. They felt that Lin Feng was being too cautious. Shen Daotian, Ling Qianye, and Nalin Hanwei were extremely skilled in formations. The three of them quickly broke the formation. 2 hours later, the formation was broken. Whoosh! The three of them quickly rushed in. The cave is broken. Hurry up and go in. Many people exclaimed and rushed into the cave. Lin Feng also rushed in. When the cultivators outside noticed that the restriction had disappeared, they also rushed in. In the distance, many cultivators were also quickly gathering here. Such an ancient cave abode could attract countless cultivators. The cave abode was very deep, and the evil aura inside was extremely dense. It's very likely that there are supreme treasures in the land of extreme negative energy, but such a place is also extremely dangerous, the Demon Lord said. If there's a chance to snatch it, we'll snatch the treasure and leave, Lin Feng said. He had always been very cautious. At this time, he had to be cautious. Because if he was not careful, he might die without a burial place. Soon, these cultivators entered a huge cave abode in the depths. This cave abode was connected to an abyss. In the abyss, there was boiling magma. The magma was rolling. The temperature was scorching. Waves of violent fluctuations came from below the magma. Shen Daotian, Ling Qianye, and Nalin Hanwei were the first to enter the cave abode. They had already lurked in the magma. Their cultivation bases were powerful. They could support a magic power light shield to resist the scorching temperature of the magma. Their bodies would not be harmed by the magma. Many cultivators also entered the magma one after another. Boiling magma actually appeared in the land of extreme negative energy. It's really too strange. Lin Feng frowned. He felt that this magma abyss was extremely strange, and it made him very uneasy. He did not rashly go down. Instead, he continued to wait outside. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At this time, 3 figures rushed out of the magma abyss. The 3 figures were as pale as a sheet of paper. The 3 of them were Shen Daotian, Leng Qianye, and Neilan Hanwei. They seemed to have experienced something terrible in the magma abyss. Everyone's expression was extremely gloomy. After the 3 of them rushed out, they did not say anything and rushed outside. Something's not right. Lin Feng frowned. Let's go. There's probably great danger below the magma world. He came back to his senses and thought of a certain possibility. Then, without thinking, he quickly rushed outside. Rumble! At this time, the magma world violently rolled. Waves of scorching heat swept across the world. Then, a terrifying creature emerged from the void. Chapter 2605. A foreign creature. After seeing this creature, Lin Feng's face revealed an incomparably shocked expression. This was actually a foreign creature. It seemed that this place of extreme energy was a place where foreign creatures were sealed. I really have to thank you, bunch of ants. Soon I will be trapped here to death. It was you who opened the seal and loosened the complete refining formation, allowing me to escape. The foreign creature sneered as it spoke. Its body was filled with an incomparably terrifying killing intent. Pooh! 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 This foreign creature was abnormally powerful. The killing intent emitted from its body swept forward, piercing through the bodies of cultivators one after another. When the foreign creatures flew past the dead cultivators, they were all stunned. Those cultivators' bodies instantly turned into dried corpses. The flesh, blood, and soul essence in their bodies were all devoured by the foreign creature. As it continued to devour the flesh, blood, and soul essence of these cultivators, the foreign creature's strength was quickly recovering. This was the terrifying part of the foreign creature. The foreign creatures possessed extremely long lifespans, possessing extremely powerful tenacious life force and recovery abilities. It was extremely difficult to kill a foreign creature. Moreover, as long as the foreign creature continued to devour the flesh, blood, and soul essence of cultivators, their strength could quickly recover. After recovering their strength, these foreign creatures could still continue to devour the flesh, blood, and soul essence of cultivators to increase their cultivation. For the 9 provinces, the foreign creature could be said to be a disaster. In fact, it was not only for the 9 provinces, but for all the worlds in the heavens. It was all disastrous. Once the other side's creatures appeared, they had to quickly kill them. Once the other side's creatures became stronger, wanting to kill them would be close to impossible. The foreign creature could often devour the creatures of a world to increase their cultivation and complete their evolution. This kind of thing had happened more than once in the past. There were originally 3,000 great worlds in this world, but in reality, there weren't that many great worlds left. It was because some great worlds had long been destroyed by the foreign creatures. Those great worlds that were destroyed by the foreign creatures became great worlds where lonely souls wandered. Not a single blade of grass grew. It wasn't a problem for a foreign creature to destroy a great world. Otherworldly creatures! They're otherworldly creatures! Hurry up and run! When they saw this foreign creature, many people cried out in alarm. This foreign creature almost scared everyone out of their wits. Who dared to fight against the foreign creatures? Lowly creatures, none of you will be able to escape. You will all become my food. The foreign creature laughed maliciously again and again, his body releasing terrifying killing intent. The murderous aura emanating from his body was like sharp swords. The killing intent was like a sword, slicing through the void. Puff! Puff! Cultivators continuously suffered disaster, dying under the foreign creature's hands. Immediately afterwards, their flesh and soul essence would be devoured by the foreign creatures. In the end, Only a few dozen people out of the 1,000 managed to escape. Soon after, the foreign creatures also rushed out. A foreign profound world. Suddenly, the otherworldly creature released a series of growls. Immediately after that, all the cultivators within a radius of 15 kilometers were enveloped by the domain that the otherworldly creature released. This kind of domain was very powerful and also very strange. It was similar to momentum or domineering. It was much stronger than momentum, but it was not as powerful as domineering. Its effect was also far less than domineering. However, that was because domineering was too heaven-defying. Actually, the domain was also an extremely terrifying technique. Anything that was enveloped by the domain would be instantly killed. When enveloped by a domain, the cultivator's body would be greatly restricted, and even moving would be difficult. This foreign creature wanted to surround all the cultivators within a radius of 15 kilometers and capture them all in one fell swoop. It's the foreign creature. When the cultivators in the distance saw the foreign creature, their voices trembled. Their bodies were also trembling in fear. There were more than 2,000 cultivators who were surrounded by the foreign creature. There was no lack of experts. Even Xindaotian, Leng Qianye, and Nailan Hanwei were unable to escape. They were all enveloped by the foreign creature's domain. Lin Feng was also enveloped by the foreign creature's domain. What are you afraid of? There are so many of us. Let's attack together and kill the foreign creature. The source of the foreign creature is a great supplement. Lin Feng shouted loudly. Many people shook their heads in fear, not daring to fight the foreign creature at all. There were too many legends about the foreign creature. The foreign creature was synonymous with disaster. Once the foreign creature appeared, they would run as fast as they could. This thought was deeply ingrained in every cultivator's heart. Therefore, it was too difficult for the surrounding cultivators to attack the foreign creature. Many people were so scared that they couldn't use their magic power before attacking the foreign creature. The foreign creature was almost refined to death. Now is the best chance to kill him. If we miss this chance, it will be too difficult to kill the foreign creature. Once the foreign creature's cultivation increases, you all can imagine what the consequences will be. Your loved ones, friends, family, they might all die under the foreign creature's hands. Why don't we just join hands now, stake it all, we will definitely be able to get rid of the foreign creature, said Lin Feng. He really wanted to fight against the foreign cultivators. This was because he knew how terrifying the foreign creature was. Now, this foreign creature had appeared in the world. For the 9 provinces, it was very likely to be a disaster. However, no one responded to Lin Feng. Although there were many cultivators around, no one dared to fight the foreign creature. What about the 3 of you? Lin Feng looked at Xindaotian, Leng Qianye, and Nailan Hanwei. He had advised the 3 of them not to open the seal before, but he was ridiculed by Leng Qianye. Now that the foreign creature had escaped, it could be said that it was because of the 3 of them. If you want to die, you can go. Don't drag us down with you, Leng Qianye said with a cold smile. He quickly flew into the distance. Although the foreign creature's domain was very powerful, it couldn't suppress Leng Qianye. Xindaotian and Nailan Hanwei didn't say anything and quickly fled outside. Cowards, even if you escape, your achievements won't be too high, Lin Feng said with a cold smile. You're courting death and still ridiculing us. How laughable and stupid! Nailan Hanwei sneered back. There's no need to say anything to people like him. He might have some talent, but he's too stupid. Talking to people like him is an insult to us, Xindaotian said with a cold smile. The 3 of them didn't stop and quickly fled. 108,000 swords. The remaining 2,000 plus cultivators also fled outside one after another. However, right at this time, that foreign creature released a cold shout. Giant swords began to condense in the void. They were energy swords. They were densely packed. 108,000 swords swept out. Pooh! 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 The sound of flesh being torn apart, and the cultivators' screams rose and fell. Chapter 2606. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I'm still young and have a bright future ahead of me. I don't want to die here. My son was just born not long ago. I have to get out alive. Many people cried out in fear, but no one could save them. These cultivators were all killed by the foreign creatures. In the end, only 7 or 8 people managed to escape. Of the remaining 2,000 or so people, apart from Lin Feng, all died miserably. After those cultivators died, their flesh and soul were instantly devoured by the foreign creatures. The foreign creatures were much stronger than before. Lin Feng had been locked onto by the foreign cultivators the whole time. The foreign cultivators were staring at him. It was no wonder the foreign creatures targeted him. Previously, he had called for everyone to work together to kill the foreign creatures. It would be strange if the foreign creatures didn't target him. It seems like your words were useless. Those people were scared out of their wits when they saw me. How could they still have the courage to fight? The foreign creatures looked at Lin Feng indifferently. Lin Feng sighed and said, "What a pity! If these people had listened to me and worked together, there's a high chance that they could have killed you. How can there be so many ifs in this world? Things that didn't happen didn't happen." The foreign creatures mocked. "You're right." Lin Feng nodded. "You're not bad. You're actually not afraid of me." The foreign creatures narrowed his cold eyes and looked at Lin Feng. He sneered and said, "I'm a person who cherishes talents. If you submit to me now and are willing to be my slave, I can spare your life. How about it?" Swoosh! With a flash of light, the black dragon sword flew out. Lin Feng held the black dragon sword and looked at the foreign creatures indifferently. "I want to kill you to prove my Tao even more," the foreign creatures said mockingly. "With just you? You're really too far away. If you can't grasp some opportunities, you're destined to die." The foreign creature's enormous claw suddenly swung out. 108000 swords were moving towards Lin Feng at the same time. Heaven and earth had turned into a sea of swords. Lin Feng was submerged by the sea of swords. This foreign creature was already about to be trapped to death, its cultivation perhaps not even a 10,000th of its peak, perhaps not even 100,000th. However, he was still unimaginably powerful. Of course, Lin Feng wasn't weak either. He transformed into a yin-yang Tao diagram. Then, he quickly flew through the void. The black dragon sword in Lin Feng's hand became a part of the yin-yang Tao diagram along with him. Clang, clang, clang. Clanging sounds of collisions rang out one after another. The power of the yin-yang Tao diagram formed by Lin Feng was extraordinary, directly breaking apart the sword chi. Then, he quickly slaughtered his way towards the foreign creature's main body. Soon, Lin Feng's yin-yang Tao diagram arrived in front of the foreign creature's main body. Then, he slaughtered his way towards the foreign creatures. "He does have some tricks up his sleeve." The foreign creature's expression was indifferent. He raised his huge claw and slapped it towards the yin-yang Tao diagram formed by Lin Feng. A dull collision sound rang out. The yin-yang Tao diagram formed by Lin Feng collided with the foreign creature's claw. The foreign creature's claw was too hard. Meanwhile, the power of the foreign creatures was just too great. It directly sent the yin-yang Tao diagram formed by Lin Feng flying. Meanwhile, Lin Feng was beaten back to his human form, his face extremely pale. That strike just now didn't hurt him lightly. The damage to his body was extremely great. Now, he still felt his blood boil. His entire body was in intense pain. "Lowly creature, you're not bad to be able to withstand my attack." The foreign creature looked at Lin Feng with an indifferent expression. It was as if he was looking at an ant. The foreign creature really didn't put Lin Feng in his eyes. This was because the foreign creatures were extremely arrogant. They didn't put any other races in their eyes. In the eyes of the foreign creature, the races in this starry sky world were all lowly races. The foreign creature's arrogant attitude naturally made people gnash their teeth in hatred. However, the foreign creatures were indeed very powerful and terrifying. This was a world where the strong were respected. The weak. In the end, they would be looked down on. Lin Feng said indifferently. Do you think you're very noble? Truly laughable to the extreme. Back then, in the Starry Sky world, I personally killed a few dozen foreign creatures. Not long ago, in the Netherworld, I even schemed against a foreign creature to death. There's nothing to fear from foreign creatures. The foreign creature sneered. Do you think you can deceive me with this nonsense? The foreign creature didn't believe Lin Feng's words at all. Just how terrifying of an existence were the foreign creatures. Even if their cultivation fell to the lowest point in their lives. In the eyes of the foreign creature in front of him, their strength wasn't something that an ant like Lin Feng could contend against. Nothing is impossible. You are also destined to die in my hands. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent as he quickly charged toward the foreign creature. He didn't say that he wanted to kill the foreign creature to prove his Tao casually. This foreign creature definitely couldn't be allowed to live. Otherwise, there would be a disaster. Moreover, Lin Feng needed a great battle to temper his cultivation. This kind of great battle was also very beneficial to the cultivation of the White Tiger aura. Oh, the great Tao of reincarnation, you are immortal for all eternity. Lin Feng stepped forward in the void. He began to chant the incantation of the great reincarnation art. He wanted to summon the wheel of reincarnation to deal with the foreign creature. This foreign creature was too terrifying. Therefore, Lin Feng also attacked with all his strength, not holding back at all. Rumble! A loud sound was heard. The wheel of reincarnation was summoned by Lin Feng. It lingered in the black fog, emitting waves of terrifying power. The development of all things in this world, there must be a cause and effect. Next, Lin Feng chanted the incantation again. This time, he began to summon the Gate of Karma. This was an ancient immortal gate summoned by the Great Karma art, which was ranked third among the 3,000 great Taos. Of course, it was only an illusion and not the real Gate of Karma. When Lin Feng cultivated to the immortal king realm, he might be able to summon the real Gate of Karma. But for now, he couldn't do it. Of course. Even if it was just an illusion, the power of the Gate of Karma was terrifying enough. The Wheel of Reincarnation. The Gate of Karma. All of them were summoned by Lin Feng. Above the 9 heavens, a terrifying aura pervaded the air. The foreign creature narrowed his eyes and looked at Lin Feng. He sneered and said, "This is a divine ability manifested from the Tao of Reincarnation and the Tao of Karma, right? I didn't expect a little ant like you to cultivate 2 such powerful divine abilities. In a moment I will devour your soul and seize all your memories. Then, your divine abilities will also belong to me. Heaven's swallowing demonic abyss." As soon as the foreign creature finished speaking, he used a supreme divine ability, condensing a huge demonic abyss. Chapter 2607. The might of this heaven-swallowing demonic abyss of the foreign being was simply too strong. At the same time, it was incomparably tyrannical. Facing the attack of this mystic skill, Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He was controlling the Karma Gate and Reincarnation Plate with all his might. This was not the first time Lin Feng had summoned the Karma Gate and Reincarnation Plate at the same time. He realized that by summoning the Karma Gate and Reincarnation Plate at the same time, these 2 mysterious treasures could form a tight connection. Their might would increase tremendously as well. It was as though they could form a perfect cycle and complement each other. Their might would increase. Therefore, when these 2 mystic skills were deployed together, their might was abnormally tyrannical. And now, when Lin Feng activated these 2 mystic skills together, the might of the Karma Gate and Reincarnation Plate was indeed released. When these 2 utmost treasures joined together, they formed a tight connection as though they were the 2 extremes of the cycle of yin and yang. Boom! Boom! 2 consecutive explosions rang out as the Karma Gate and Reincarnation Plate broke through the heaven-swallowing demonic abyss mystic skill that was deployed by the foreign being. Thereafter, the Karma Gate and Reincarnation Plate slammed out at the foreign being. Bam! Following that, an intense collision sound rang out. The Karma Gate and Reincarnation Plate slammed into the body of the foreign being fiercely, sending him flying out. However, Lin Feng's face darkened. After the foreign being was sent flying, his body did not receive any damage at all. The physical body of this foreign being was simply way too frightening. Lin Feng's Karma Gate and Reincarnation Plate could not hurt him at all. Lin Feng felt that things were getting a little troublesome. If even these two mystic skills could not deal any damage to the foreign being, this foreign being was simply way too strong. Even though the foreign being before him was still in an extremely weak state, his fighting strength was still frightening to the point where it could cause one's heart to palpitate. "Lad, your lord will have you dead." Even though the foreign being was not injured, he was extremely infuriated at this moment. That was because the foreign being was extremely prideful. Now that he was repelled by Lin Feng, this was a great humiliation for the foreign being. The foreign being bolted out, displaying an endless amount of killing power as he tore through the void and swept out in all directions, shattering the universe. His claws were his most powerful weapon. They destroyed Lin Feng's Karma Gate and Reincarnation Plate instantly. The fighting strength that the foreign being's strength was shocking. Lin of Lin Feng was. The situation was extremely dangerous. Just as the attack was about to land on Lin Feng's body, Lin Feng's expression changed. The foreign creature suffered a calamity. His head was dizzy, and his body fell straight to the ground. Lin Feng used the great cursing technique to attack the foreign cultivators. "Die!" Lin Feng took out the stone dagger and pounced in front of the foreign being. The stone dagger pierced towards the foreign being's head. Even though the foreign being was hit by Lin Feng's great curse, his instincts were very strong. He moved to the left. However, the foreign being was not able to completely dodge Lin Feng's attack. The stone dagger in Lin Feng's hand pierced through the foreign being's right eye. The foreign being's eye was blinded by Lin Feng. The foreign being let out a painful roar. When Lin Feng blinded the foreign being's eye, the foreign being's huge claws struck Lin Feng. Lin Feng was sent flying by the foreign being. A huge wound appeared on his body. That wound almost tore Lin Feng's body in half. "You human ant, I'll kill you!" The foreign being's life force was incomparably tenacious. Blinding an eye didn't seem to affect him much. He roared and pounced towards Lin Feng again. This time, Lin Feng quickly retreated and dodged the foreign being's attack. He activated his immortal divine body to heal his injuries, but he found that his wound couldn't heal. Blood kept flowing out. Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. He sensed a strange power surging into his body. It was as if that strange power was preventing the wound from healing. When he sensed that strange strength, Lin Feng frowned. He had never looked so serious before. This was troublesome. That strange power would make his body bleed continuously. A person would lose more than a certain amount of blood. All of the body's abilities would decline greatly, and they might even faint. Therefore, Lin Feng knew that he was in trouble. After the foreign being missed, he continued to pounce towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng dodged several of the foreign being's attacks, but the wound on his abdomen was still bleeding. Therefore, Lin Feng felt his body getting weaker and weaker, and his speed was getting slower and slower. Lin Feng didn't leave just like that. He was condensing the Great Fate technique. This was a peerless ultimate technique. It wasn't easy to use. However, as long as he could successfully use this divine ability, he would definitely be able to cause extremely serious injuries to the foreign being. The foreign being pounced towards him again. At this time, Lin Feng finally succeeded in using the Great Fate technique. A loud rumbling sound was heard. A long river of fate descended from the sky and blasted towards the foreign being. Bang! The long river of fate slammed into the foreign creature's body, directly sending it flying. "Falling into the 18 levels of hell is your fate," Lin Feng shouted coldly. He turned into a bolt of lightning and pounced over quickly. Lin Feng held the stone dagger in his hand and pierced towards the foreign being's head. At this moment, the foreign being was suppressed by the long river of fate summoned by the Great Fate technique. Therefore, he couldn't dodge Lin Feng's attack. Pfft! The dagger in Lin Feng's hand pierced into the foreign being's head. Roar! The foreign being let out an incomparably painful roar. Then, the foreign being's tail whipped towards Lin Feng fiercely. Bang! That tyrannical attack slammed onto Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng was sent flying, coughing out large mouthfuls of blood in midair. He had severely injured the foreign being, but at the same time, he was also severely injured by the foreign being. The foreign being didn't continue pouncing towards Lin Feng. Instead, he quickly fled into the distance. First, one of the foreign being's eyes was blinded by Lin Feng. Then, Lin Feng used the stone dagger to pierce a bloody hole in his head. The foreign being's injuries were much more serious than Lin Feng's. Seeing the foreign being escape, Lin Feng wanted to chase after him. However, he felt that his body was extremely weak. Lin Feng was helpless. He could only watch as the foreign being escaped. He didn't stop either. Instead, he rushed into the distance. He had to find a place to heal his injuries quickly. Otherwise, all the blood on his body would flow out. When that time came, he would probably die. Chapter 2608. Lin Feng's combat strength had plummeted due to his injuries. However, his spiritual sense was still very sharp. When he sensed the terrifying aura coming from behind him, he could still feel that terrifying aura. Therefore, Lin Feng's body moved as fast as lightning. The cold light behind him almost brushed past Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng was just one step away from being killed. Amazing, really amazing! I didn't expect you to be able to severely injure the foreign creature alone. Even among the heaven-defying monsters of the myriad races, you can be ranked in the top 10. A cold laugh was heard. Then, a man walked out of the forest. This man was Ling Qianye, who had escaped before. It turned out that this person did not escape. Instead, he had been hiding in the surrounding forest and witnessed the fierce battle between Lin Feng and the foreign creature. You shouldn't have attacked me. You should have taken the opportunity to kill the foreign creature. You shouldn't have let him escape, Lin Feng said with a gloomy expression. Ha ha ha, what a complete idiot. What does the foreign creature escaping have to do with me? I don't care how he destroys the 9 states. The 9 states are not under the control of the myriad races. What does the destruction of the 9 states have to do with the myriad races? I hope to see the scene of the foreign creature wreaking havoc in the 9 states. It must be very exciting then. Ling Qianye laughed sinisterly. Lin Feng said with an indifferent expression. The foreign race should be killed. The ancients didn't lie to me. Die, brat. Ling Qianye sneered and quickly attacked Lin Feng. He had been waiting for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Lin Feng had many things that Ling Qianye coveted. In Ling Qianye's opinion, this was the best opportunity to kill Lin Feng. Blood slaughter cut! Ling Qianye's body turned into a blood-red light. The blood-red light slashed gently, as if it could tear the world apart, and slashed towards Lin Feng. Violent fluctuations surged from the blood-red light. The power of that blood-red light was so strong that it shocked and moved everyone. Lin Feng used his great defensive technique to condense a defensive crystal wall to block Ling Qianye's attack. However, due to the severe injuries on his body, the power of his divine ability was far weaker than before. The bloody light that Ling Qianye had transformed into slashed at the defensive crystal wall that he had condensed. Clang, 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 after a series of collisions, Lin Feng's defensive crystal wall was directly shattered. Die! Ling Qianye laughed sinisterly. In his opinion, Lin Feng was dead for sure. He did not believe that Lin Feng would be able to withstand his attack with such a heavily injured body. Ling Qianye's attack was about to hit Lin Feng. Numerous runes appeared on Lin Feng's body. This was a rune condensed from magic immunity. The moment the runes condensed from magic immunity appeared, Ling Qianye's blood-colored light had already bombarded Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng was directly sent flying. His face turned even paler, but fortunately, he had the magic power immunity theurgy. Otherwise, he would have died at the hands of Ling Qianye. Buzz! The blood-colored light that Ling Qianye had transformed into did not stop. He once again slashed at Lin Feng. Lin Feng was clear about his current situation. He was now seriously injured, but Ling Qianye was in peak condition. It was not wise to continue fighting with Ling Qianye like this. He wouldn't be able to fight for long, and he might not be able to hold on any longer. Therefore, he had to launch a sure kill attack on Ling Qianye. Therefore, when Ling Qianye attacked again, Lin Feng directly used his supreme domineering aura to envelop Ling Qianye. The power of Lin Feng's supreme domineering aura was very tyrannical. When the supreme domineering aura was released, the terrifying attack fiercely bombarded the blood-colored light that Ling Qianye had transformed into. The blood-colored light that Ling Qianye had transformed into was sent flying. Then, Ling Qianye was beaten back to his human form. The deterrent effect of the supreme domineering aura directly suppressed Ling Qianye. Ling Qianye suddenly found that his body was unable to move. Domineering aura! Ling Qianye was shocked. Obviously, he had seen domineering aura before. Those who had not seen domineering aura before would definitely not be able to recognize it. That's right, you can die now! Lin Feng shouted coldly and quickly attacked Ling Qianye. The dragon elephant arm was activated, and an invincible punch blasted towards Ling Qianye. The domineering aura was intimidating. Coupled with the dragon elephant arm, Lin Feng was originally very confident that he could use these two supernatural powers to kill Ling Qianye. He did not expect Ling Qianye to undergo bloodline atavism at this time. His original body was a blood-winged wolf. When his bloodline was activated, Ling Qianye turned into a blood-winged wolf that was more than 10 meters long and 8 to 9 meters tall with a pair of huge wings. After atavism, Ling Qianye's cultivation had increased by many times. He could now move under the deterrent effect of the supreme domineering aura. The supreme domineering aura was naturally a powerful supernatural power. However, the supreme domineering aura needed to be supported by an extremely powerful magical power to display its power. Lin Feng was currently in a weak state. He could not fully display the power of the supreme domineering aura. After atavism, Ling Qianye's strength had increased greatly. He said with a sinister smile, "So what if you have mastered the domineering aura? After atavism, I can still kill you!" As soon as he finished speaking, Ling Qianye's huge body directly pounced towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng and Ling Qianye exchanged a blow, and he was sent flying by Ling Qianye. The blood-winged wolf that Ling Qianye had transformed into opened its bloody mouth and tried to devour Lin Feng. Epical aura, stack! At this time, Lin Feng once again displayed a domineering aura. Epical aura and supreme domineering aura were stacked together. His current state was too weak to release the power of the supreme domineering aura. However, when the two different domineering auras were stacked together, the power of the domineering aura was released. Epical aura and supreme domineering aura were stacked together, and the blood-winged wolf that Ling Qianye had transformed into was obviously slowed down. At the same time, Lin Feng began to activate the Emperor Bone in his chest. This Emperor Bone contained unimaginable power. Once activated, it could unleash a portion of the Great Emperor's power. Now, Lin Feng began to activate this Emperor Bone. Boom! The power of this Emperor Bone was released. A thick holy light shot out from Lin Feng's chest. Activating this Emperor Bone consumed a lot of his body. In order to activate this Emperor Bone, the magic power in Lin Feng's body was completely sucked dry. There was not a bit left. After sensing the power of the holy light, the expression of the blood-winged wolf that Ling Qianye had transformed into changed drastically. He wanted to dodge that terrifying attack. But it was too late to dodge. Because his body was suppressed by Lin Feng's two domineering auras. Even if he wanted to dodge, he was powerless. No! Ling Qianye cried out in horror. Bang! The next moment, the holy light released by Lin Feng's Emperor Bone directly bombarded Ling Qianye's body. Ling Qianye's body directly exploded. Ling Qianye's body and soul were destroyed, and he died tragically on the spot. Chapter 2609. In a cave, Lin Feng sat cross-legged. He channeled the Archean dragon-esque elephant art to refine the strange energy in his body. It was that strange energy that was hindering his body, causing his body to be unable to recover for a long time. Now, With the channeling of the Archean dragonesque elephant art, that strange energy was gradually refined by Lin Feng. Lin Feng's body also began to recover. After his body had completely recovered, Lin Feng realized that the murderous aura in his body had become even stronger. This was of great help to cultivating the white tiger aura. If he wanted to cultivate the powerful technique of the white tiger aura, he needed to constantly fight. He had to break through in the midst of life and death. First, he had to fight with the foreign creature, then he had to fight to the death with Ling Qianye. This was crucial to Lin Feng's cultivation of the white tiger aura. The only thing that Lin Feng found a pity was that he could not kill the foreign creature this time. The main reason was that he did not have a helper of his level by his side. If Gong Ziyu and the others were present, they would definitely be able to kill that foreign creature. As for the cultivators of the myriad tribes, he could not count on them. After the previous incident, Lin Feng already had a deeper impression of the myriad tribes. The foreign race should be killed! To the cultivators of the 9 states, the myriad tribes were considered foreign races. Therefore, the myriad tribes should be killed. Swoosh! A light flashed in his hand. A storage ring appeared in Lin Feng's hand. This storage ring belonged to Ling Qianye. Ling Qianye was the #1 prodigy of the younger generation of the blood-winged heavenly wolf clan. He was one of the famous heaven-defying prodigies of the myriad tribes. There were definitely many magic treasures in the storage ring. Lin Feng's divine telekinesis invaded the storage ring. Then, a gloomy and cold aura pounced, wanting to destroy his divine telekinesis. This was the divine telekinesis imprint that Ling Qianye left in the storage ring. Now that this divine telekinesis imprint sensed Lin Feng's divine telekinesis aura, it wanted to destroy Lin Feng's divine telekinesis. Ling Qianye, your body and soul have been destroyed. This divine telekinesis imprint should be destroyed as well. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. A heavenly flame surged into the storage ring and enveloped Ling Qianye's last divine thought. Ling Qianye's divine will screamed and roared with hatred. Lin Feng, you bastard! I curse you to die 10 times, no, 100 times more miserable than me! Lin Feng sneered. You'll never see that day! Go to hell! Lin Feng activated the heavenly flame and instantly extinguished Ling Qianye's spiritual sense. Lin Feng's divine will invaded Ling Qianye's storage ring. Ling Qianye's storage ring was hundreds of acres in size, and there were all kinds of treasures piled up inside. For example, the high-grade origin crystals were piled up like mountains. There were also many natural treasures, divine stones, immortal iron, formation materials, secret manuals, various grades of magic treasures, and so on. Ling Qianye was indeed a top prodigy of the myriad races. He had so many treasures on him. Among all the magic treasures, Lin Feng saw a war spear. The war spear was 2.5 meters long, and it was pitch black in color. The tip of the spear was sharp and stained with blood. It seemed to be the blood of a demon god that would never dry up. The material of the war spear was very special. It was made of purgatory fiendish copper. Purgatory fiendish copper was a material that was not inferior to bronze. This treasure should be a supreme treasure created in the Bronze Age. It had been passed down until now, and its power was still unimaginably terrifying. When Lin Feng approached the war spear, his divine will felt a sense of dizziness. The war spear was very terrifying. It contained a terrifying demonic power. Lin Feng summoned the war spear. Purgatory fiendish spear! Purgatory fiendish spear! Suddenly, a series of eerie and terrifying sounds came from the war spear. Then, the war spear stabbed toward Lin Feng. Lin Feng was shocked. He did not expect the war spear to attack him. This war spear was really strange. He quickly dodged the attack of the war spear, and then grabbed the war spear. The war spear shook violently, trying to break free from Lin Feng's grasp. Lin Feng said coldly, "If you dare to struggle again, I will destroy you." Lin Feng cast dozens of spells to suppress the war spear. The war spear had a spirit. Realizing that Lin Feng was a very powerful figure, it gave up struggling. These powerful magic treasures often had a common characteristic. If one's cultivation was not enough, it was unrealistic to want to refine these powerful magic treasures. Because cultivators could not subdue the weapon spirits of these powerful magic treasures. Lin Feng poured his magic power into the war spear. Immediately, a lot of information entered Lin Feng's mind. Many images even appeared in Lin Feng's mind. He saw a man holding this war spear and participating in an extremely tragic battle. That man finally fell. And the war spear was lost. Purgatory Devil Master! This is actually the treasure of the first-generation Purgatory Devil Master! Lin Feng was very shocked. The origin of this war spear was extremely extraordinary. It came from the Nine Hells Purgatory. Lin Feng had been to the Nine Hells Purgatory before. That was a special world that only souls could enter. It was very terrifying. When a soul entered the Nine Hells Purgatory, it was worse than death. And this war spear was a treasure forged from Purgatory Devil Copper by the Master of the Nine Hells Purgatory, the #1 Purgatory Devil Master. In that battle, the Purgatory Devil Master died. The Purgatory Devil Spear was covered in dust. In the end, the Purgatory Devil Spear fell into the hands of the blood-winged Heavenly Wolf clan. It was passed down from generation to generation. This generation passed it down to Ling Qianye. Who would have thought? Ling Qianye wanted to sneak attack Lin Feng and kill him. But he did not manage to do so and was instead killed by Lin Feng. In the end, this treasure also landed in Lin Feng's hands. What a great treasure! This war spear is stained with the blood of gods and demons and is forged from Purgatory Devil Copper. It was once refined by the Purgatory Devil Master for so many years. It is definitely a great killing weapon. Lin Feng looked at this Purgatory Devil Spear lovingly. The gains from the battle with Ling Qianye were not bad. Ling Qianye was indeed a top genius of the 10,000 races. The treasures on him really made Lin Feng very excited. Lin Feng kept the Purgatory Devil Spear and his consciousness continued to enter the storage ring. There were many treasures in the storage ring. Lin Feng basically scanned through all of them. Unless it was an extremely heaven-defying treasure, Lin Feng would not be particularly excited. Buzz! At this moment, a violent vibration came from the depths of the storage ring. Lin Feng's consciousness reached the depths of the storage ring and realized that the violent vibration came from a porcelain bottle. At this moment, that porcelain bottle was emitting a dazzling light. The porcelain bottle had already turned transparent. And there was a pill sealed in that porcelain bottle. That pill was extremely extraordinary. It was surrounded by immortal light. The powerful medicinal power continued to be absorbed by Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng's magic power was still constantly transforming. His magic power was also constantly increasing. Rumble. A series of loud sounds came from his body, like a surging river that swept through heaven and earth. His cultivation had once again completed a breakthrough. He had broken through from the 6th heavenly layer to the 7th heavenly layer. Lin Feng felt an unprecedented amount of magic power surging within his body. This feeling was simply too great. After breaking through 2 levels in a row, the medicinal power of the quasi-immortal pill was also exhausted. Lin Feng opened his eyes. He was pleasantly surprised to sense the powerful strength in his body after breaking through. I didn't expect this quasi-immortal pill to be so effective. It allowed me to break through 2 levels in a row. Lin Feng's lips curled into a smile. The Demon Lord said, "This quasi-immortal pill is very precious. This time, killing Ling Qianye and snatching this quasi-immortal pill can be considered a great opportunity." Lin Feng said, "I guess that there are strong and weak among the heaven-defying geniuses of the myriad races. This Ling Qianye should be a weaker heaven-defying genius." "That's right." The Demon Lord nodded. He agreed with Lin Feng's point of view. The Demon Lord continued, "Do you still remember that Gong Zongye?" Lin Feng nodded. "Of course I do." "What about him?" The Demon Lord said. "This Gong Zongye is a peerless and terrifying figure." "Oh? A peerless and terrifying figure?" I feel like he's only at Ling Qianye's level, Lin Feng said. Gong Zhongye was Gong Ziyu's elder half-brother, but Lin Feng hated him to the core. His arrogant attitude was extremely detestable. Moreover, Gong Ziyu and Gong Zhongye seemed to have a personal grudge. Lin Feng guessed that Gong Ziyu had been ostracized and even hunted down by his clan back then. Perhaps this had something to do with Gong Zhongye. This Gong Zhongye has hidden himself very deeply. He looks arrogant on the outside, but inside, he's a cautious, callous, and heartless person, the Demon Lord said. For the Demon Lord to mention Gong Zhongye, it could be seen how outstanding he was. Lin Feng carefully recalled everything about Gong Zhongye and found that he was indeed a person who had hidden himself very deeply. I hope Gong Ziyu won't suffer too much. Lin Feng frowned. He was worried about Gong Ziyu, afraid that Gong Ziyu wouldn't be able to deal with this Gong Ziyu. Dragon Turtle Mountain. This was an extremely dangerous place in the southern celestial devil realm. Gong Ziyu had obtained an opportunity from Dragon Turtle Mountain and obtained an immortal herb. Immortal herbs were extremely rare and precious. They could be used to refine immortal pills. Of course, refining immortal pills was very difficult, so most of the time, even if one obtained an immortal herb, they could only refine a quasi-immortal pill. The quasi-immortal pill's effects were naturally very good. Lin Feng had just refined a quasi-immortal pill and raised his cultivation by 2 realms. Lin Feng's savings were so huge, but he was still able to raise his cultivation by 2 realms. If it was someone else, the increase would be even greater. After Gong Ziyu came out of Dragon Turtle Mountain, he was planning to leave. At this time, a man walked out of the forest step by step. My good little brother, it seems like your harvest is not bad. The man who walked out was none other than Gong Zhongye. After seeing Gong Zhongye, Gong Ziyu's face suddenly sank. His eyes flashed with hatred that was engraved in his heart. My good little brother, what's with that look? I am your elder brother, do you hate your elder brother so much? When you were expelled, your elder brother even spoke up for you, Gong Zhongye said with a smile. My mother was killed by you, Gong Ziyu said with gritted teeth. Chapter 26:11. Gong Ziyu's childhood was very unfortunate because his mother was a slave. She was of lowly status. She was in charge of his father's daily life. A slave like her didn't even have the right to sleep with him. At the time, Gong Ziyu's father wasn't the Sky Demon Emperor and hadn't grown into such a powerful existence. Once, Gong Ziyu's father got drunk. He then had a one-night stand with Gong Ziyu's mother. That was how Gong Ziyu came into existence. The Sky Demon race had originally discussed whether or not to give birth to Gong Ziyu because the Sky Demon race placed great importance on bloodlines and were extremely arrogant. The offspring of a female slave's pregnancy was viewed as a great humiliation by many Sky Devil race elders. That was why Gong Ziyu's fate was destined to be bumpy before he was born. It was said that the Sky Demon race wanted to kill Gong Ziyu's mother and the unborn Gong Ziyu together. However, no one would have thought that when the Sky Fiend race wanted to kill the mother and son, there would be a natural anomaly with the appearance of a devil lotus. The magic lotus was the Sky Demon race's sacred artifact. The magic lotus had 9 the magic lotus in the world, and many of them had been lost. The Sky Demon race also seemed to only have 3 the magic lotus. The magic lotus that suddenly appeared was protecting Gong Ziyu. Gong Ziyu's father stepped in to protect Gong Ziyu and his mother. After Gong Ziyu was born, he was given to one of Gong Ziyu's concubines to raise. Gong Ziyu's mother was confined in a courtyard and could only see Gong Ziyu once a year. Gong Ziyu had been protected by the demon race's sacred artifact, the magic lotus, since he was young. His talent was also astonishing. In addition, his mother was a slave, so many people had their eyes on Gong Ziyu. It was very common for disciples of the same clan to kill each other. Not to mention the royal families of some empires killing each other. There were even cases of people killing their own fathers and brothers. In this world, many people only value benefits and despise feelings, including family, friendship, love, etc. There were several times when Gong Ziyu almost died in accidents. Fortunately, he had the magic lotus to protect him. Gongziyu was lucky enough to escape the calamity and survive in the end. That year, Gongziyu was 6 years old. He missed his mother very much. So, he sneaked into the courtyard where his mother was confined. When the mother and son met, they were naturally overjoyed. However, not long after Gongziyu saw his mother, Gongziyu, who was only 10 years old, came to Gongziyu's mother's courtyard. "You hide. Don't show yourself," Gongziyu's mother said and hid Gongziyu in the cupboard. Although Gongzinya was young, he was very mature. Moreover, he was vicious and merciless. When Gongzinya was 6 years old, he slaughtered dragons. When he was 8 years old, he slaughtered over 100 million people for the sake of cultivating demonic arts. From this, one could see how terrifying Gongzinya was. No one dared to look down on Gongzinya, even if he was only 10 years old. "You are the disgrace of our bloodline. If you don't die, our bloodline will be ridiculed. Lord Father didn't kill you because of that bastard Gongziyu. That's because Lord Father is too benevolent. I can't let a lowly slave like you live." Gongzinya's voice was ice-cold. His hands were already stained with the blood of countless people. Naturally, he didn't mind killing one more. Although Gongziyu's mother also had some cultivation, she couldn't compare to Gongzinya. After Gongzinya subdued Gongziyu's mother, he used a rope to strangle Gongziyu's mother's neck. "I'll kill you first, then I'll kill that bastard Gongziyu. The magic lotus will be mine at that time." A sinister expression appeared on Gongzinya's young face. His strength grew stronger and stronger. Gongziyu, who was hiding in the cupboard, wanted to rush out and save his mother. But at this time, Gongziyu's mother turned to look at the cupboard. Her eyes were filled with pleading. She prayed that her son wouldn't come out no matter what. Once he did, both mother and son would die here. No one knew how much pain and torment Gongziyu, who was only 6 years old at the time, went through in his heart. He watched as his mother was strangled to death in front of him. But he was powerless. Gongziyu wanted to rush out and fight Gongzinya to the death. But in the end, he restrained himself. The seed of hatred sprouted in his heart. Gongziyu told himself that he had to survive. Gongziyu swore in his heart. He had to kill Gongzinya and avenge his mother. From then on, Gongziyu endured humiliation and worked hard to cultivate. His talent was very strong, and among the younger generation, he gradually showed a heaven-defying side. Gongziyu and Gongzinya's father also obtained a great opportunity, and became a great emperor-level existence. Ever since their father became a great emperor-level existence, their lives seem to have changed a lot. "Nurturing the imperial son is very important," one of the supreme elders said. "Do we have to restart the imperial son nurturing plan?" Another grand elder frowned. "Of course, we have to do this. Perhaps in the future, the heavenly demon clan will have 2 great emperors," said the grand elder. The imperial son was very cruel. It was to place all the top geniuses of the heavenly demon clan's younger generation on an alien planet, and let them kill each other. The one who survived in the end would be the imperial son. He would be nurtured as a successor. The heavenly demon clan used such a bloody method to nurture their descendants. They firmly believed that this method could produce the strongest successor. Many great emperors of the heavenly demon clan were the last to survive the imperial son nurturing plan. Gongziyu's father had also survived this way. The heavenly demon great emperor had a total of 13 sons, including Gongzinya and Gongziyu. All of them had participated. Gongziyu saw the bloodiest scene in the imperial son nurturing plan this time. Many people of the same race had died tragically. He also saw his elder brothers killing each other. When both sides were injured, they were killed by the other. Heavenly demons were merciless. Perhaps it was because only half of Gongziyu's blood was heavenly demon blood, while the other half came from his mother, a very ordinary cosmic race. Thus, with only half of it, Gongziyu couldn't be so merciless. In the end, only Gongzinya and Gongziyu were left in this bloody battle. Gongzinya had personally killed 10 of his brothers. He was very terrifying and merciless. Such a character was indeed very suitable to become the new heavenly demon Great Emperor. Gongziyu wasn't Gongzinye's match. Gongziyu originally thought that he would die at Gongzinye's hands, but who would have thought? The magic lotus protected its master and released a terrifying power, injuring Gongzinye. At this moment, several grand elders appeared one after another, wanting to kill Gongziyu. Gongziyu questioned these grand elders. He was also the son of a great emperor. Why did they want to kill him? And protect Gongzinye? The answer Gongziyu received chilled his heart. Because Gongzinye was a pure heavenly demon. He was destined to become the heavenly demon Great Emperor. And he was just a little bastard. Kill him and give the magic lotus to Nyer, a grand elder of the heavenly demon clan said coldly. He wanted to kill Gongziyu and forcibly take Gongziyu's the magic lotus. Chapter 26:12. The grand elders of the myriad races had a good idea, but they had underestimated the extraordinariness of the magic lotus. The magic lotus was extremely powerful. It had directly broken through the layers of seals. Then, it took Gongziyu and fled. The Sky Devil race began to pursue Gongziyu. In those years, Gongziyu had experienced too many tribulations and had narrowly escaped death countless times. Gongziyu had once had friends and lovers. But he had seen them die tragically one after another. He gradually became ruthless. Later, Gongziyu was stranded in 9 provinces. After many years of fleeing and fighting, he had also suffered serious injuries. Thus, Gongziyu sealed himself. Then, he fell into a deep slumber. He hoped to recover from his slumber. What Gongziyu didn't know was that after Gongzinye was injured by the magic lotus, he also fell into a deep slumber. Because the magic lotus was very frightening and the power it released was very strange, it was very difficult for Gongzinye's injuries to completely recover in a short period of time. He needed some special methods to restore his body to its original state. Gongzinye was placed on the holy altar of the Sky Devil race's ancestral land to recover. That holy altar was very mystical, and time didn't flow. Thus, Gongzinye also didn't age. After countless years, Gongzinye also woke up from his deep slumber. The two of them seemed to be destined to meet. I have never forgotten to cut off your head and place it in front of my mother's grave as an offering to her soul. Gongziyu's voice was cold. Why else would I call you a bastard? Sky devils are heartless, but you have feelings. A bastard like you is destined to not achieve much, and will be trampled under my feet for the rest of your life. Gongzinye looked at Gongziyu with a mocking expression, his face full of contempt and disdain. In his opinion, Gongziyu was nothing to him. Not a brother at all. He was just a bastard who brought shame to the Sky Devil race. Sorry, I was too excited just now. My good little brother, please forgive me for what I did just now. Gongzinye suddenly changed his tone. This person was very fickle. The tone of his voice. He could also switch back and forth at will. Gongziyu indifferently looked at Gongzinye and said, Why are you acting so hypocritical in front of me? Haven't you always wanted to kill me and seize the magic lotus? My dear brother, I'd rather see you personally give the magic lotus to your dear brother. A ferocious expression appeared on young Master Nye's face. He continued, My favorite thing to see is my little brother clearly wanting to kill me, but being unable to do so. In the end, you can only kneel on the ground and submit to me. Don't you think that's a very exciting feeling? Are you dreaming? Gongziyu said coldly. Gongzong smiled and said, How could it be wishful thinking? My good little brother, I'll give you 2 choices. The first choice is to submit. The second choice is to die. Then let's fight. Gongziyu's expression was indifferent as he charged at Gongzinye. He threw a punch at Gongzinye, and behind Gongziyu, a myriad of demons appeared. Myriad demon fist. Not bad. This myriad demon fist actually manifests a myriad of demons. Looks like you've cultivated it to an extremely high level. Looks like you've improved quite a bit over the years, my good little brother. Gongzinye's lips curled into an indifferent smile. His tone was still indifferent, as if he didn't care about Gongzi Yu's attack at all. Perhaps in his opinion, breaking Gongzi Yu's attack was a very simple matter for him? Gongzi Nye made his move and walked towards Gongzi Yu step by step. Suddenly, a terrifying aura erupted from Gongzi Nye's body. Domineering aura. It was actually a domineering aura. Gongzi Nye's domineering aura was green. It was on the same level as Lin Feng's white tiger domineering aura. It was the 7th level of domineering aura. The power of this domineering aura was unimaginably powerful. Once it was released, it was simply invincible. Especially when a powerful existence like Gongzi Nye used it, it was even more terrifying. Previously, the Demon Lord had said that Gongzi Nye wasn't simple. He was a person who hid very deeply. Everything that happened today seemed to prove that the Demon Lord's words were correct. Gongzi Nye had indeed hidden very deeply. He actually possessed green domineering aura. If Gongzi Nye didn't use it, no one would know that he possessed such a terrifying domineering aura. The moment the green domineering aura was released, Gongzi Yu's divine ability was immediately broken. Gongzi Yu was also sent flying. In the past few years, Gongzi Yu had been condensing his domineering aura. However, it was not an easy task to cultivate Haki. Just look at Lin Feng's white tiger domineering aura. Even after obtaining the white bone's sacred bone and the cultivation method, he still hadn't succeeded in cultivating it. It could be seen how difficult it was to cultivate domineering aura. However, Gongzi Nye had already condensed his domineering aura, and it was such a powerful domineering aura. After Gongzi Yu was sent flying, he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His face also became as pale as paper. Gongzi Nye quickly charged towards Gongzi Yu. He punched towards Gongzi Yu. Gongzi Yu was intimidated by the green domineering aura. Although he wasn't completely suppressed, his movement speed was greatly reduced. This was the terrifying part of domineering aura. When Gongzi Nye used his domineering aura, it could increase his cultivation. Gongzi Yu realized that he couldn't dodge Gongzi Nye's attack, so he blocked it. The two sides fiercely collided. Following the violent collision, Gongzi Yu was sent flying by Gongzi Nye. Kacha kacha! His arm was directly broken. My good little brother, you're really too weak. Gongzi Nye looked at Gongzi Yu with disdain. You're actually so strong? Gongzi Yu's face revealed an incomparably shocked expression. He didn't even dare to believe what he was seeing. I forgot to tell you that I've swallowed the divine blood. I now possess 30% of the combat strength of a great emperor. Not to mention you, even a quasi-emperor realm cultivator who has reached the 99th step of the stone steps can only die in front of me. Gongzi Nye's mouth curved into a sinister smile. So that's how it is. Gongzi Yu's expression was gloomy. He directly summoned the magic lotus. After seeing the magic lotus, Gongzi Nye's eyes suddenly revealed a burning gaze. It was a gaze of naked greed. Gongzi Nye had been peeping at Gongzi Yu's the magic lotus. Now that he saw the magic lotus, he couldn't wait to immediately take it for himself. My good little brother, you think you can deal with me by using the magic lotus? You're gravely mistaken. In my eyes, you're too weak. Even if you use the magic lotus, you're still weak. Chapter 26:13. Gongzi Nye was the type of person who would make anyone want to smash him to death with a single glance. His arrogance was emitted from his bones. That kind of high and mighty appearance and attitude was really annoying. Gongzi Yu controlled the magic lotus to attack Gongzi Nye. Gongzi Yu had been refining the magic lotus for years. Although he had yet to fully control the magic lotus, he had already gained control of a portion of the magic lotus's power. It was a sacred artifact of the celestial demons. Thus, just a portion of its power was already terrifying enough. He could unleash a powerful attack. Boom! The magic lotus unleashed its power, emitting terrifying ripples that swept through the world and suppressed Gongzi Nye. You've finally activated the magic lotus's power? I still remember how the magic lotus injured me back then. If it wasn't for the magic lotus, I wouldn't have been in a deep slumber for so long. If it wasn't for this, the magic lotus, I might have already become a great emperor. My good little brother, you're the main culprit behind all of this. Why did the magic lotus choose a little bastard like you instead of me despite my noble bloodline and great talent? Gonzinia became more and more agitated as he spoke. His eyes flickered with deep jealousy. Gonzinia had always been jealous of Gongziyu's good luck. In his eyes, Gongziyu was just a little bastard. A lowly and despicable little bastard. However, Gongziyu had been chosen by the magic lotus. This was something Gongzinia couldn't accept. The sacred artifact of the celestial demons. It should have chosen to follow him instead. That's because your heart isn't in the right place. Gongziyu's expression was indifferent. Ha ha! Gongzinia burst into laughter, as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. He looked at Lin Feng with a mocking gaze and said, "How can you say that you have evil intentions to me? What a joke! The heavenly devil is heartless. In order to pursue the great way, he can do anything. The world of cultivators is a heartless thing. Why? You have feelings in your heart? As expected of a bastard born of a lowly woman." As soon as young Master Nye finished speaking, he blasted out a palm attack. His combat strength was too terrifying. He directly destroyed the magic lotus's attack and quickly rushed towards Gongziyu. When Gong Zongnye said that he had 30% of a great emperor's battle power, perhaps that was an exaggeration. However, this person was truly too powerful. If Lin Feng was here, he would also be extremely shocked. This was because Lin Feng knew how powerful Gongziyu's the magic lotus was. Controlling a treasure like the magic lotus. Using Gongziyu's cultivation to activate the magic lotus. Not to mention the younger generation, even the older generation of cultivators would have to temporarily avoid it. But what about young Master Nye? Yet he was absolutely domineering. He destroyed the magic lotus's attack as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. Young Master Nye raised his right hand. Demonic light lingered on his palm. When this palm came down, it immediately felt as if the world was spinning and the sun and moon were collapsing. Young Master Nye's palm was called the Sacred Devil Hand. It was a peerless divine ability passed down by the Heavenly Devil clan. It was an extremely powerful immortal art. With young Master Nye's strength, the power of this immortal art was extremely strong. One could only imagine how terrifying it was. In fact, from young Master Nye's attack, it could be seen that he wasn't as frivolous as he appeared on the surface. Because he was so powerful, when he attacked, it was still like a lion hunting a rabbit. It could be seen that young Master Nye was only arrogant on the outside, but was actually very cautious on the inside. People with this kind of character were actually the most terrifying. The magic lotus rotated and a demonic river appeared. That was the demonic river that the magic lotus revealed. It swept through the world, shook the void, and swept through the world. Waves of noises came from the demonic river. If one listened carefully, it was as if millions of demonic gods were roaring. The demonic river's power was extremely tyrannical. Bang! The demonic river collided with young Master Nye, and an earth-shattering sound suddenly came out. Young Master Nye's method was unimaginably powerful. It actually directly shattered the demonic river. This demonic river was an attack unleashed by the magic lotus, but it couldn't stop young Master Nye's footsteps. Young Master Nye's cultivation had reached an unfathomable level. Young Master Nye instantly arrived below the magic lotus and punched at Gongziyu. A contemptuous smile appeared on his face. "My good little brother, you're really too weak. Even if you control the magic lotus, you're still so weak. The magic lotus, a sacred object, is really a pearl covered in dust in your hands. It's better to let your good big brother control the magic lotus." Buzz! The magic lotus released a demonic light that enveloped Gongziyu's body. This demonic light was a defensive light. It was very powerful and could block any attack. But when young Master Nye's punch landed on the demonic light, the demonic light was directly shattered. Young Master Nye's punch ruthlessly landed on Gongziyu's chest. Bang! Gongziyu's chest immediately exploded. He suffered a near-fatal injury. Fortunately, the Heavenly Fiend clan's vitality was incomparably tenacious. Otherwise, Gongziyu would have already died from that punch. Weak! Weak! Really too weak! Young Master Nia's lips curled into a sneer and disdainful arc. He continued to walk towards Gongziyu. He raised his right hand. Then he directly slashed at Gongziyu. A dazzling sword chi condensed and slashed at Gongziyu. The power of this sword chi was so strong that it tore the void apart. Then it quickly arrived in front of Gongziyu. Gongziyu wanted to dodge, but it was too late. His pupils slightly dilated. Gongziyu's heart was filled with endless sorrow. He felt an unprecedented feeling of power sweep through his body. Gongziyu worked hard to cultivate and furiously make himself stronger. But his efforts. In the end, it was all in vain. Death. This was his final destination. But Gongziyu was unwilling to die like this. But no matter how unwilling he was, what was the use? Young Master Nia's strength was already not something he could contend against. Young Master Nia's expression was indifferent as he watched this scene. His lips curled into a sinister arc, as if he could already see Gongziyu dying under his attack. Seeing that Gongziyu was about to be killed. But at this moment, the magic lotus released a demonic light that enveloped Gongziyu. Swish! With a flash of light, Gongziyu disappeared. Young Master Nia's attack landed on empty air. Gongziyu was sucked into the magic lotus's internal space. Then the magic lotus lightly shook. It directly tore through the void and escaped without a trace. The magic lotus is worthy of being a holy artifact. It's really powerful. Young Master Nia clicked his tongue in wonder. Then the corner of his mouth curled into a cold smile. My good little brother, you can't escape! Chapter 26:14. Roar! A series of beastly roars came from the mountain forest, resounding through the clouds and shaking the void. This was an overlord-level beast. It was shrouded in flames and had two heads. One was the head of a Swanee, and the other was the head of a Swanee. This kind of ferocious beast was abnormally powerful. It had the power to destroy the world. Lin Feng fought with this beast. During this period of time, Lin Feng had been constantly challenging these top-level beasts to train his cultivation. Although this overlord-level beast was strong, it could only deal with Lin Feng's attacks tirelessly. Of course, it wasn't easy for Lin Feng to kill this overlord-level beast. This overlord-level beast finally broke free from Lin Feng's attacks and escaped. After the battle, Lin Feng went to a pool to take a bath. He washed his body and washed off the sweat on his body. It was really comfortable. More than 10 female cultivators flew over from the distance and saw Lin Feng walking up from the shore. They did not avert their gazes. Instead, they pointed and whispered among themselves. They were very bold. These were the female cultivators of the outside world. They were passionate and unrestrained. Lin Feng ignored those female cultivators and quickly left to find a place to rest. The southern immortal demon realm was very big. Lin Feng was training while looking for news of Dugiya. Of course, Lin Feng didn't know if Dugiya was really in the southern immortal demon realm. This was because all the information about Dugiya was Lin Feng's own guess. He didn't know how reliable this information was. In addition, the heaven-shaking steel didn't appear. Lin Feng knew that he still needed to wait for a while. The true fortune hadn't appeared yet. If the heaven-shaking steel appeared, it would be a heaven-defying fortune. If anyone could learn something special from the steel, it would be a great harvest. On that day, Lin Feng suddenly heard some news. It was said that in the depths of an ancient mountain range, there was a holy light. Cultivators who bathed in the holy light could benefit greatly. Some people understood Tao while bathed in the holy light, and some people broke through to the next cultivation layer. This news caused a huge uproar. Many people went to that place, wanting to bathe in the sacred light to see if it really had such an effect. Lin Feng was also very interested. He didn't know what this sacred light was. The ancient forest wasn't peaceful at all. This place was full of danger. Not only were there many powerful beasts active here, but there were also many cultivators who liked to kill and steal. Along the way, Lin Feng saw at least 10 waves of cultivators fighting. Either they were fighting over some treasures, or they were killing each other to snatch treasures. This kind of thing was not uncommon. Finally, Lin Feng reached the depths of the forest. When he arrived, many people had already gathered here. There were 9 mountain ranges in the depths of the forest. These 9 mountain ranges actually looked like 9 fierce beasts. These 9 fierce beasts were Chunyo, Yazi, Chao Feng, Paleo, Swanee, Tao Tai, Swanee, Fushi, and Chiwen. The origins of these 9 fierce beasts were very famous, because these 9 fierce beasts were rumored to be the sons of the dragon. The dragon had 9 sons, but the 9 sons were different. And the 9 mountain ranges that appeared here were exactly the same as the 9 sons of the dragon, causing many people to feel astonished. This is the legendary 9-Beast Mountain. It is said that there are some shocking secrets hidden here, but no one knows what they are. Those who try to find the secrets of the 9-Beast Mountain will suffer a calamity, a middle-aged cultivator said. He thought of a secret. The secret mentioned the 9-Beast Mountain. There's no need to find the secrets of the 9-Beast Mountain. Just comprehend the Tao and the sacred light of the 9-Beast Mountain. Being able to comprehend the Tao is a great opportunity, someone said. He did not want to explore the secrets of the 9-Beast Mountain. There was no need to take the risk. The sacred light of the 9-Beast Mountain appears once every 7 days. The next time it appears will be 2 days later. After the sacred light appears, it will last for 3 days. Before the sacred light disappears, you must leave the 9-Beast Mountain. Otherwise, you will suffer a calamity, an old man said. Suffer a calamity? Will something terrible happen? Someone asked. He was very curious about this matter because the next time the sacred light appeared, those people planned to enter it. One day after the sacred light disappears, the 9-Beast Mountain will be shrouded in darkness. It is said that a terrifying existence will appear and eat all the living things in the 9-Beast Mountain, the old man said. At this time, everyone realized that the 9-Beast Mountain was very quiet. Such a lush forest should not be so quiet. But in the 9-Beast Mountain, there was not even the sound of insects and birds. Thus, one could tell that the 9-Beast Mountain contained great danger. Lin Feng stood in the distance and looked at the 9-Beast Mountain. He found that the 9-Beast Mountain was very different from others. There was a very strange energy lingering around it. That chi made Lin Feng have the impression that it was terrifying. This is a land of peril. 9 is the number of extremes. Therefore, the 9-Beast Mountain is equivalent to a land of death, the Demon Lord said. Lin Feng could not help but feel slightly moved. He sent a message to the Demon Lord and asked, "It seems that you know something about the 9-Beast Mountain, Demon Lord." The Demon Lord said, "I have heard a story about the 9-Beast Mountain, but I don't know if it is true." "What story?" Lin Feng asked. "A long, long time ago, there was a true dragon emperor who was schemed against by others. He was severely injured, and there was no way he could save himself. The true dragon emperor's 9 sons heard that there was someone who could save the true dragon emperor, so the 9 sons went to the person's residence and begged that person to save their father. That person said that he was cursed and turned into a cursed being. He could not even save himself, let alone others, unless the 9 sons of the true dragon emperor were willing to bear the endless pain in his place. The 9 sons of the true dragon emperor agreed. They were willing to bear the pain of the curse for that person. Chapter 26:15. When Lin Feng heard Yao Jun's story, he frowned. Even though he didn't know if it was true. Although the story was debatable, it was worth thinking about. The world of cultivators was indeed filled with deception and intrigue. Of course, it was also filled with all kinds of lies and deceit. Many times, trusting others unconditionally would lead to a tragic end. The fate of the 9 dragon sons explained everything. If this matter was true, the 9 dragon sons were really too pitiful. Anyone who encountered such a thing would probably be driven crazy, right? Lin Feng found a place to rest while waiting for the holy light to appear again. He was looking forward to the effects of the holy light. If he could comprehend the great Tao, it would naturally be something to be happy about. More importantly, the holy light seemed to have the power to raise one's cultivation. Of course, all of this would have to wait until Lin Feng entered the holy light and personally experienced its power before he could make a judgment. More and more people came to the Nine Beast Mountain. Many people were watching the Nine Beast Mountain. There was no lack of powerful figures among them. Have you heard? The blood-winged Heavenly Wolf Clan's heaven-defying genius, Ling Qianye, was killed. This matter has angered the blood-winged Heavenly Wolf Clan. While waiting for the holy light to appear, some people were discussing the recent events in the southern immortal devil realm. As a heaven-defying genius, Ling Qianye's death was naturally a huge matter. One had to know that a heaven-defying genius like Ling Qianye was extremely rare among the younger generation of the myriad races. Many of the royal clans might not even be able to produce a genius like him. The blood-winged Heavenly Wolf Clan attached great importance to Ling Qianye, so they passed down the Purgatory Fiend's spear to him. However, Ling Qianye was still killed. The blood-winged Heavenly Wolf Clan was about to go crazy. They had been investigating who the murderer was. I've also heard about this matter. Ling Qianye's cultivation is extremely terrifying. Just who could kill him? Some cultivators of the myriad races said. They were also extremely puzzled. They found it unbelievable that such a heaven-defying genius like Ling Qianye had been killed. It's said that Ling Qianye, Shen Daotian, Nailan Hanwei, and the others released a foreign being. Some people suspect that it was that foreign being who killed Ling Qianye, a myriad races cultivator said. But that otherworldly creature still hasn't appeared. Who knows where it ran off to? Another myriad races cultivator said. Ling Qianye's death could be said to have caused a huge uproar among the myriad races. This matter was no small matter. The cultivators of 9 regions were also talking about the fall of Ling Qianye. Unlike the cultivators of the myriad clans, the cultivators of the 9 regions were all jubilant. A heaven-defying genius of the myriad races had died. For the 9 prefectures, this was naturally a great thing. During this period of time, Lin Feng also heard some news about Ling Qianye's death. The outside world still did not know that Ling Qianye was killed by him. Even if the outside world knew, Lin Feng was not afraid. Now that his cultivation level had increased, only great emperors could kill him. Lin Feng couldn't compete with other cultivators of the same cultivation level as him, but now, he had become much stronger. However, Lin Feng believed that with his own methods, he could easily get rid of the other party. Therefore, Lin Feng was not worried about the revenge of the blood-winged wolf clan. Now that Lin Feng needed to fight, if the experts of the blood-winged wolf clan really came looking for trouble, Lin Feng did not mind killing to prove his Tao. Once he successfully cultivated the white tiger aura, Lin Feng, who had mastered 3 types of aura, would be able to do so. At that time, he would be invincible. Boom! A violent fluctuation came from afar. A powerful cultivator had arrived. Shidao Tian was surrounded by divine light as he walked over step by step. He was like a divine king descending to the mortal world. His temperament was extraordinary, and he was handsome and unrestrained, attracting the attention of many people. They were both heaven-defying geniuses, but Shidao Tian was much stronger than Ling Qianye. First of all, in terms of bloodline, Shidao Tian was the successor of the ancient god clan. The ancient god clan's bloodline was one of the royal clans of the myriad races. It was one of the most powerful bloodlines among the myriad races. The ancient god clan's ancestors had immortals. As for the blood-winged wolf clan's ancestors, only a great emperor had appeared. The difference in bloodline was huge. In addition, Shidao Tian's talent was extraordinary. When he was born with divine light in his hand. Therefore, the outside world had always said that Shidao Tian was the reincarnation of an ancient expert. However, the cultivators of the outside world didn't know whether it was true or not. This was all a secret. Perhaps only the cultivators of the ancient god clan knew everything. After Shandao Tian arrived, another expert arrived. He was tall and sturdy, and had long golden hair. He was an elite of the Golden Saint Lion clan. The Golden Saint Lion clan was a famous clan, and also had the royal bloodline among the myriad races. It was said that this clan could open up to 9 heavenly eyes. Once 9 heavenly eyes appeared, they could destroy all living beings. This was a clan that no one dared to provoke. This person is called Huang Yanmo. He's a heaven-defying genius of the Golden Saint Lion clan, a human cultivator said in a very soft voice, afraid that Huang Yanmo would hear him. Huang Yanmo was a surname. Of course, this was a very rare surname. Huang Yanmo stood in the void and gave off a very oppressive feeling. When facing Huang Yanmo, many people felt a heavy sense of oppression. In the distance, there were bursts of immortal light, and a beautiful woman flew over. It was Nailin Hanwei. Lin Feng had seen this woman before. She was still so beautiful and moving. She was a natural beauty and had a heavenly fragrance. Her arrival was more eye-catching than Shadao Tian's and Huang Yanma's. This was because a beautiful woman would be the center of attention wherever she went. The commotion she caused was much greater than that of a male cultivator. Perhaps there will be more heaven-defying geniuses coming, someone said. Sure enough, as the cultivators had guessed, more heaven-defying geniuses arrived not long after. Shrouded in demonic light, Gong Zini looked like a demon emperor. This existence was abnormally terrifying and had hidden very deeply. He had also arrived. After Gong Zini's arrival, the heavenly demon emperor's son also arrived. The heavenly demon emperor's son was now even stronger. Had he already undergone his 3rd bloodline awakening? They are all heaven-defying geniuses of the myriad races. There are no heaven-defying geniuses from the 9 states. A cultivator from the 9 states sighed. Apart from Lin Feng, is there a second heaven-defying genius in the 9 states? Immediately, the cultivators from the myriad races mocked and ridiculed. Many cultivators from the 9 states had ugly expressions, but they could not refute the other party's words. Because the other party's words were indeed very reasonable. Apart from Lin Feng, there seemed to be no second heaven-defying genius in the 9 states. Lin Feng was still standing in the distance, and had not shown himself. However, the heavenly demon emperor's son's senses were very sharp. Chapter 26:16. The grudge between Lin Feng and the heavenly demon emperor's son was too deep. In addition, Lin Feng had snatched away the heavenly demon emperor's son's fortuitous encounter. The item left behind by the heavenly demon emperor's son's ancestor recorded the cultivation method of the great destiny art. It should have been the heavenly demon emperor's son's divine ability. However, it was snatched away in the end and Lin Feng succeeded in cultivating it. The heavenly demon emperor's son hated Lin Feng even more. The hatred between the two of them. Even the Yellow River wouldn't be able to wash it clean. The heavenly demon emperor's son's strength had increased greatly. His biggest wish was to find Lin Feng and torture him. He wanted to make Lin Feng beg for his life, but he couldn't die. However, this wish had never been realized. Now that the heavenly demon emperor's son saw Lin Feng, he was extremely excited. As a heaven-defying genius, the heavenly demon emperor's son was naturally eye-catching. His every move attracted the attention of many. Everyone followed the heavenly demon emperor's son's gaze and looked in the same direction. Then, they saw a cultivator standing on a mountain peak in the distance. From afar, the cultivator was dressed in black and looked extraordinarily handsome. Lin Feng! It's Lin Feng! Many people exclaimed. Previously, there was a rumor that Lin Feng had fought with the otherworldly creatures and might have died at their hands. After that, Lin Feng didn't appear for a long time. This seemed to confirm the rumor that Lin Feng might really have died. This matter made the myriad races very excited. It was hard for the cultivators of the 9 states to accept. Of course, many of them didn't believe that Lin Feng had died just like that. Now that Lin Feng had appeared, many of them were delighted. This person is quite lucky. Nailin Hanwei frowned slightly. She recalled that Lin Feng had asked her to deal with the otherworldly creatures with Shendao Tian and Ling Qianye. Nailin Hanhua didn't expect that Lin Feng was still alive. Instead, it was Ling Qianye who was killed. However, after seeing Lin Feng, Nailin Hanhua suddenly felt that Ling Qianye's death was somewhat strange. Perhaps it wasn't done by the otherworldly creatures? Could it be Lin Feng's doing? This idea was quickly rejected by Nailin Hanhua as soon as it appeared. Lin Feng first fought with the otherworldly creatures and then fought with Ling Qianye. How could he kill Ling Qianye? That was too unrealistic. Shendao's furrowed brows slightly raised. His expression, Shendao Tian's son's expression's eyes flashed a flash of coldness. Shendao Tian was also a cultivator who was very good at hiding himself, said Gong Zhongnia while looking at Lin Feng. He had seen Lin Feng before and knew that Lin Feng and Gong Zhongnia were good friends. Qiong's Qio. These myriad races were high and mighty, and regarded the human race as ants. Therefore, the cultivators of the Qios. Lin Feng was a heaven-defying genius among the younger generation of the human race. Almost all the Qios races viewed him as an enemy. However, some cultivators of the Qios races hid their true thoughts. Some cultivators of the Qios races didn't hide their true thoughts. The Sky Demon Emperor's son quickly flew toward Lin Feng. He sneered at Lin Feng and said, "Kid, did you expect to see me here? Have you thought about what will happen to you after seeing me?" Lin Feng sneered when he saw the Sky Demon Emperor's son's arrogant expression. He said indifferently, "I'm sorry. When I see you, I can't help but think of the scene of you being beaten half to death by me during the Prodigy List ranking competition." Pfft. Many cultivators of the 9 states burst into laughter. Many of the cultivators of the 9 states who were watching the show were cultivators who had participated in the Prodigy List ranking competition. Therefore, these cultivators had all seen the battle between Lin Feng and the Sky Demon Emperor's son. The Sky Demon Emperor's son was extremely arrogant, and didn't think much of Lin Feng. However, in the end, he was beaten half to death by Lin Feng. This matter became the topic of conversation before and after meals. This matter made the Sky Demon Emperor's son extremely angry. The Sky Demon Emperor's son also saw it as a great humiliation. Now that Lin Feng had brought it up, the Sky Demon Emperor's son was being ridiculed by Lin Feng. The Sky Demon Emperor's son was instantly enraged. He wanted nothing more than to cut Lin Feng into 1,000 pieces. People shouldn't live in the past. They should live in the present, the Sky Demon Emperor's son said indifferently. "I'm no longer the same person I used to be. I've wanted to fight you for a long time. I want you to know that you don't even have the power to resist in front of me." The Sky Demon Emperor's son's words were extremely arrogant. He didn't think much of Lin Feng at all. This was the Sky Demon Emperor's son's character. "Is that so? You can try. I've always wanted to kill you and get your black god-devouring flame," Lin Feng said indifferently. "Ha ha!" The Sky Demon Emperor's son suddenly laughed. He looked at Lin Feng with disdain. "It's time to wake up from your dream. With my current strength, I won't even need 10 moves to kill you." The surrounding people were discussing animatedly. The Sky Demon Emperor's son's words were extremely arrogant. One had to know that Lin Feng was also a heaven-defying genius, but the Sky Demon Emperor's son said that he wouldn't even need 10 moves to kill Lin Feng. He really didn't think much of Lin Feng. Everyone could tell that the Sky Demon Emperor's son wasn't trying to provoke Lin Feng with his words. He really looked down on Lin Feng. It was a kind of contempt that came from his bones. Boom! A terrifying aura emanated from the Sky Demon Emperor's son's body. He seemed to want to kill Lin Feng. Many people grew excited, especially the cultivators of the 10,000 races. They were looking forward to the Sky Demon Emperor's son killing Lin Feng outside 9 Beast Mountain. The cultivators of 9 states were very confident in Lin Feng. They believed that Lin Feng would definitely be able to kill the Sky Demon Emperor's son. A great battle was about to break out. However, at that moment, holy light shot into the sky from 9 Beast Mountain. Then, the voice of the heavenly Tao resounded through the clouds. The holy light has appeared again. Many cultivators cried out in surprise. Whoosh! 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 The 9 heaven-defying geniuses quickly flew into the depths of Nine Beast Mountain. The others weren't in the mood to watch the battle between Lin Feng and the Sky Demon Emperor's son. They entered the holy light to comprehend the opportunities within. That was the most important thing. Everything else. That was secondary. The Sky Demon Emperor's son didn't want to continue fighting with Lin Feng. He looked at Lin Feng contemptuously and sneered. Get lost. Otherwise, when I see you again after you're done cultivating, I'll make this forest your burial ground. With that, the Sky Demon Emperor's son flew into the distance. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. No matter how strong the Sky Demon Emperor's son was, he didn't fear him. Chapter 26:17. The Nine Beast Mountain was not safe because there were many powerful restrictions here. Therefore, unless one's cultivation level was extremely high or they were proficient in arrays, otherwise, entering the Nine Beast Mountain would very likely result in death. Therefore, when many cultivators rushed into the Nine Beast Mountain, what awaited them was not the radiance of the holy light. Instead, it was the terrifying restrictions. Many cultivators died one after another under the attacks of the restrictions. However, this did not stop everyone's enthusiasm. Therefore, there were still many cultivators who rushed in one after another, wanting to bathe in the holy light. However, in the end, they died tragically under the attacks of the restrictions. Lin Feng shuttled through the array and entered the holy light. Then, Lin Feng discovered that the holy light on the 9 peaks of the Nine Beast Mountain was the densest. Many cultivators noticed this situation. Therefore, many cultivators wanted to climb the peaks and cultivate on them. Several experts at the heaven-defying level each occupied a mountain. They were unwilling to share the peaks that they occupied with others. Anyone who dared to approach the peaks that they occupied would be mercilessly obliterated. This was a cruel world where strength was respected. Without strength, one would be bullied and might even die tragically. This kind of thing was too common, so everyone was used to it. Therefore, the rest of the cultivators began to fight for the control of the other peaks. Lin Feng climbed up a peak and the cultivators on that peak retreated one after another. Although they did not want to retreat, they were worried that Lin Feng would attack them. A large number of cultivators gathered in the forest and hurriedly found a place to cultivate and comprehend the great Tao nomological laws contained in the holy light. A small number of cultivators were cultivating on the peaks. These cultivators were relatively powerful, although they were not like those heaven-defying elites who could occupy a peak alone. However, they could still share a peak with others. Lin Feng sat cross-legged and carefully comprehended the Tao contained in the holy light. In the holy light, the Tao sounds lingered in the air. The heavenly Tao sounds resounded throughout the world. Lin Feng felt that his body was warm. It was the mysterious power contained in the holy light that made his body feel very comfortable. Soon, Lin Feng discovered something shocking. The power of the holy light was constantly tempering his physical body. At the same time, it was also tempering his magic power and soul. This caused Lin Feng to feel extremely shocked. No wonder so many cultivators were able to break through while bathing in the sacred light. It turned out that the holy light had so many miraculous effects. This was something that Lin Feng had never expected. Lin Feng began to absorb large amounts of holy light. As time passed, Lin Feng vaguely sensed the aura of Tao. The aura of Tao enveloped his entire body. In that instant, Lin Feng had the feeling that he was about to enter a mysterious and abstruse state. However, it was not an easy task to enter that state. Once Lin Feng entered that state of mind, he would be able to obtain incredible benefits. Maybe he would even obtain some powerful inheritances. Lin Feng tried again and again to enter that state of mind, but after many attempts, it ended in failure. However, after failing several times in a row, Lin Feng found that he seemed to have found the trick. In the end, Lin Feng finally sensed the mysterious Tao, the mysterious state of mind. That Tao was an extremely domineering Tao. Lin Feng tried to communicate with that Tao. But suddenly, he felt two dazzling rays of light suddenly light up in the darkness. Those two rays of light were extremely dazzling and eye-catching. Other than being dazzling and eye-catching, it was cold. It was a pair of incomparably cold eyes. The killing intent contained in those eyes made Lin Feng's heart tremble. The most frightening thing was that those eyes seemed to have some kind of terrifying magical power. Once he looked into those eyes, instantly, he would lose himself. And it was very difficult to break free from the confusion. Those eyes contained a power that could make people sink into oblivion. Not good, something's not right here. Lin Feng's expression suddenly changed. He sensed that something was wrong. Lin Feng began to circulate Luya's star chart. This divine ability was indeed worthy of being the sole secret technique passed down by Taoist Luya. In an instant, Lin Feng regained his clarity of mind. At this moment, Lin Feng realized that the sky had already darkened. In the depths of Nine Beast Mountain, black fog rolled. Roar! A low roar resounded. Nine Saint Mountain became extremely restless. Many cultivators woke up because those cultivators did not succeed in comprehending the Tao like Lin Feng. If a cultivator succeeded in comprehending the Tao, it would not be easy for them to wake up. Blood moon, why did the moon in the sky turn into a blood moon? A cultivator pointed at the moon in the sky. It was originally a full moon, but now it had turned into a blood moon. It was extremely strange. Blood moons only appear when there's a change in the land of death. Not good, something's wrong. Lin Feng's face revealed a trace of shock. He had seen the moon suddenly turn into a blood moon in a land of death before, so he had some understanding of this situation. Let's go. Lin Feng did not even think and quickly rushed outside. There were great fortuitous opportunities in such a land of death. However, there were also great dangers. Fortuitous opportunities and dangers always went hand in hand. The cultivators who entered before had obtained fortuitous opportunities, so this place became more and more mysterious. More and more cultivators came from all directions. They entered Nine Beast Mountain. Now, there were about 20 to 30,000 cultivators gathered at Nine Beast Mountain. With so many cultivators gathered, some of them had obtained fortuitous opportunities in Nine Beast Mountain before. They still wanted to continue to obtain new fortuitous opportunities in Nine Beast Mountain, or use the holy light to increase their cultivation. Most of them were entering Nine Beast Mountain for the first time. No one had expected that something would happen to Nine Beast Mountain this time. Let's go, let's leave this place quickly. Many cultivators shouted loudly, their voices filled with fear. These cultivators also had a premonition that something was about to happen. However, it was already too late to leave Nine Beast Mountain. Clumps of black fog tumbled. It completely enveloped Nine Beast Mountain. The way out was completely sealed. Many people lost their way while looking for a way out. Many people were also killed by the restrictions inside Nine Beast Mountain. Cultivators died everywhere, their blood staining the ground red. However, the most terrifying thing was that there was a terrifying force in Nine Beast Mountain that devoured the flesh and essence of the dead cultivators. That story can't be true, right? Are there really 9 cursed sons of the true Dragon Great Emperor here? The current situation was caused by the 9 sons of the true Dragon Great Emperor using a heaven-defying method. The 9 sons of the true Dragon Great Emperor want to kill everyone who enters Nine Beast Mountain. Chapter 26:18. Now, the Demon Lord was also muttering because maybe the story he told before was really something that had happened before. If that was the case, it would be troublesome. The 9 sons of the true dragon contained endless resentment. No matter how righteous or kind they were before. But now, they had long become evil beasts. The Demon Lord said, "Let's wait and see. Maybe there's a way to escape." Lin Feng nodded. This was the only way now. He waited in the forest. Many people were still looking for a way out. Roar! The roar of a beast resounded through the world. Then the earth shook. The Nine Beast Mountain shook violently as if a peerless demon was about to be born. waves of cold and terrifying aura filled the world. That aura was so terrifying that everyone felt a bone-chilling coldness. Soon, 9 terrifying creatures walked out from the depths of the Nine-Beast Mountain. Fuxi, one of the 9 sons of the dragon, was also known as Baxia. It was shaped like a turtle and carried a heavy load. It carried the stone tablet for many years. In the temples and ancestral halls, people could see this Hercules who was willing to work hard without complaint. It was said that touching it would bring blessings. Fuxi, also known as the Charter, was the name of a legendary beast. It was shaped like a tiger and was the 7th son. It loved to argue and was powerful. The tiger-shaped decoration on the top of the prison gate was its portrait. Legend had it that Fuxi was not only eager to be righteous and spoke out for justice, but also could distinguish right from wrong and decide impartially. In addition to its majestic image, in addition to being decorated on the prison gate, it also crouched on both sides of the hall of the yamen. Every time the yamen chief sat in the hall, its image would be at the top of the chief executive's title plate and the silence avoidance plate. It looked around covetously to maintain the solemnity and righteousness of the court. Tianlin Knowledge Dragon Seed. Legend has it that there are 9 kinds of dragons, each with their own preferences. The 4th is Fuxi, which is like a tiger and has power, so it was placed in the prison gate. Pu Lao, which is shaped like a dragon but smaller than a dragon, likes to cry. It is said that Pu Lao lived by the sea and was most afraid of whales. Every time it was attacked by a whale, Pu Lao would cry out non-stop. Therefore, people put his image on the bell, and carved the long wood of the bell into the shape of a whale, and used it to strike the bell, hoping that the sound would be loud and clear. When the whale attacked, it was so scared that it roared loudly. People reported that according to its nature is fond of ringing characteristic, every bell wants to sound louder. That is, the cattail was cast as a bell button, and the wooden pestle used to strike the bell was made in the shape of a whale. When the bell was rung, he let the whale hit the paleo again and again, so that the sound of the bell would reach the clouds and reach far and wide. Chionyo. Chionyo, a dragon. He loved music. The beast engraved on the head of the Huqin is his portrait. Yuanjian Leihan. Chapter 438. Dragon of the Scaled Division. 4 quotations from Qinrinshi's Book of Potential Leihan. The dragon has 9 sons, but they are not dragons, and each has his own interests. Chionyo is a good sound, engraved on the Huqin. Generally, the Huqin had the shape of a beast engraved on it, similar to the shape of a dragon, for Chionyo. Chiwen, also known as Chiwei, was generally regarded as the 2nd son of the dragon. It liked to look around, and was often arranged on the ridge of a building, making the shape of opening its mouth to swallow the ridge, and was fixed by a sword. Taiping Yulan had the following record. Tanghui, Han Xiang Liang Palace. After the disaster, Yu Wu said, "There is a fish dragon in the sea, its tail is like a chi, and the waves are like rain, so it was made to look like its tail, to repel fire." The Wu mentioned in the text was the class of necromancers, and the fish dragon was the predecessor of Chiwen. Chiwen belonged to the water, and it was used to suppress evil to avoid fire. Chiwen, shaped like a lion, liked smoke and sat well. Buddha saw that it was patient, so he kept it under his crotch as a mount. Buddha Manjushri once had a mount, which was Chiwen. Yazi, with a dragon's body and a wolf's head, had a strong character, was brave and good at fighting, and was addicted to killing and fighting. It always held a sword in its mouth and stared angrily. It was engraved on the sword ring and the sword hilt to increase its power. As the saying goes, "A meal of kindness must be repaid, and a grievance of Chiwen must be avenged." Yazi became the incarnation of all evil. Taotai, with a body like the velociraptor of the Western Dragon clan. However, its eyes grew under its armpits, and it had tiger teeth and human claws. It had a big head and a big mouth. It was very gluttonous and would eat anything it saw. It was said that it could swallow a life planet in one bite. Chao Feng, one of the 9 sons of the dragon, was the head of a scaled insect. It had a slender body, similar to a dragon. Chao Feng not only symbolized auspiciousness, beauty, and majesty, but it also had the meaning of deterring demons and eliminating disasters. Its shape was often used as a decoration on the corners of the palace. Chao Feng's placement made the entire palace's design strict and varied, achieving a solemn and lively harmony, a unity of grandeur and delicacy. It added a layer of mystery to the towering palace. Therefore, many of the 9 sons of the true dragon were auspicious beasts. However, the 9 sons of the true dragon had now turned into evil beasts. The 9 sons of the true dragon coiled in the darkness, emitting a cold and terrifying aura. They began to hunt down the cultivators trapped in 9 Beast Mountain. My grandfather is the clan leader of the Xiantian Divine Devil clan. If you dare to kill me, you'll die too. A cultivator of the myriad races cried out in fear, trying to intimidate a dragon's son who attacked him. However, it was useless. The dragon's son was not affected at all. It pounced forward and ate the cultivator in one bite. Such a scene happened in many places. No matter what identity they had in the outside world, they were now food for the 9 sons of the true dragon. I don't want to die. Many cultivators cried out in fear and fled in all directions, trying to escape from 9 Beast Mountain. However, they were powerless. In the end, they became food for the 9 sons of the true dragon. We haven't eaten in a long time. Today, we'll eat to our heart's content, a terrifying creature said coldly. It was the Taohai that spoke. The Taohai opened its bloody mouth. It suddenly inhaled hundreds of cultivators. They were immediately devoured by the Taohai. What a powerful bloodline! Suddenly, the Taohai roared and looked in a certain direction. Oh no, I've been discovered! Lin Feng's expression changed abruptly. The Taohai was looking in his direction. Lin Feng quickly flew into the distance. What he needed to do now was to get as far away from the 9 sons of the true dragon as possible. Because Lin Feng knew. Usually, the changes in the land of death would return to normal when the sun rose the next day. Now, he had to hold on until the sun rose to stay alive. However, Lin Feng was now being targeted by the Taohai. Lin Feng sensed danger. He quickly fled into the distance. However, the Taohai was hot on his tail. The Taohai was too fast. It was getting closer and closer to Lin Feng. Lin Feng's expression turned extremely unsightly. He knew he was in big trouble. If he was careless, he might be devoured by the Taohai. Chapter 26:19. Brat, you won't be able to escape. Your bloodline is extremely powerful. I'm going to eat you. The Taohai roared furiously and opened its mouth wide. It wanted to swallow Lin Feng. Suddenly, Taohai inhaled. A powerful devouring force enveloped Lin Feng, trying to engulf Lin Feng before devouring him. Lin Feng stepped on the world of 8 directions and pushed his speed to the limit, turning into a bolt of lightning as he charged forward. Taohai's attack missed, and Lin Feng managed to shake it off once again. This infuriated Taohai. Its voice was filled with killing intent. Brat, you won't be able to escape. I'll catch up to you very soon. Then, you'll become the most delicious meal. Lin Feng asked as he fled. Big guy, let me ask you something. Did you fall into someone's trap because you wanted to save a true dragon emperor? Is that why you were cursed? Taohai was clearly stunned. It then said indifferently, How did you know? I know a lot of things. It seems like this is true. It's said that a total of 9 true dragon emperors have appeared. Which one is your father? Lin Feng asked curiously. The 9th true dragon emperor had appeared during the primordial era. The rest had appeared even earlier than that. That was because too much time had passed. Therefore, there was very little information about the true dragon emperors in the world. Lin Feng didn't know much about the 9 real dragon great emperors, but he had obtained a real dragon great emperor's talisman before. It seemed to be able to command millions of dragons. However, Lin Feng had no idea which true dragon emperor token had been forged by. The true dragon emperor token was still in his mountain river ring. Lin Feng planned to head to the dragon world in the future. once he subdued the dragons in the dragon world. By then, Lin Feng would be able to command the dragons. Brat, you ask too many questions. Do you think I need to answer a dying man like you? Tao Tai's voice was cold. Its roar shook heaven and earth. Tao Tai's speed continued to increase as it chased after Lin Feng. Tao Tai was getting faster and faster. It was very troublesome to shake it off. A roar came from afar as a powerful beast rushed over. It was a Yazi. It wanted to devour Lin Feng. Tao Tai said coldly. Fifth, I have my eyes on this brat. Stay away from him. Yazi looked coldly at Tao Tai. In the end, he had abandoned Lin Feng. Yazi was no match for Tao Tai. Tao Tai was to be. Therefore, the other dragon sons were also very afraid of Tao Tai. The Tao Tai kept chasing after Lin Feng, trying to kill him. To escape. He thought of a new method. After a short time, Lin Feng saw a cultivator. Gongzi Yu's elder brother. Of course, he was also Gongzi Yu's enemy. Gongzi saw Lin Feng as well. A mocking expression appeared on his face. He sneered and said, I heard that you were targeted by a foreign creature. I didn't expect a lowly fellow like you to be so lucky. You actually managed to escape from that creature's attack. I heard that the more you want to prove something, the more you want to hide it. You always say that others are lowly, but that's just an excuse to hide your lowly status. This is a principle that hasn't changed since ancient times. Lin Feng laughed. What did you say? Gongzi narrowed his eyes. A cold glint flashed in his eyes. He wanted to kill Lin Feng. Lin Feng acted as though he didn't sense Gongzi killing intent. He said indifferently, I heard that the heavenly devil race used to be slaves of the primordial demon race. You were slaves for generations until the primordial era. Is that true? This was something the heavenly devil race didn't want to remember. No one dared to mention the primordial demon race in front of a heavenly devil race cultivator. Now, Lin Feng was talking about the primordial demon race in front of Gongzi. Clearly, he wanted to provoke and humiliate Gongzi. I wanted to let you live a little longer, but since you're courting death, don't blame me. Gongzi body emitted a terrifying aura. He seemed to be unable to control himself, and was about to attack Lin Feng. At that moment, Lin Feng saw the Tao Tai flying over. He looked at Gongzi indifferently and said, Gongzi, don't think too highly of yourself. Killing you is easier than killing an ant for me. However, on account of Gongzi, I'll spare your dog life today. Go to hell. Gongzi sent a palm strike at Lin Feng, but Lin Feng dodged it. Lin Feng quickly flew into the distance. Gongzi expression was cold. Just as he was about to chase after Lin Feng, the Tao Tai caught up. Not bad, not bad. Another ant with a powerful bloodline. I'll devour you first, then I'll devour the other brat. The Tao Tai pounced at Gongzi. Damn it. Gongzi couldn't help but roar in exasperation. By now, he had regained his senses. He knew that he had been tricked by Lin Feng. Lin Feng was just trying to divert the disaster. He wanted Gongzi to help him stop the Tao Tai. He felt a terrifying aura. Gongzi was very arrogant. However, he didn't dare to fight the Tao Tai. He turned and fled. Where do you think you're going? The Tao Tai sneered and chased after Gongzi. Lin Feng felt that he still needed to find a way out because the 9 sons of the true dragon were too terrifying. He was worried that he wouldn't be able to last until the sun came out tomorrow and would be killed by them. Lin Feng shuttled through 9 Beast Mountain. However, he found that the restrictions on 9 Beast Mountain were very strange. There was a heaven and earth universe reversal array here. Cultivators who were trapped in the heaven and earth universe reversal array couldn't get out at all. If they wanted to force their way out, they would only be completely lost in the array. The best way was to wait for tomorrow. This night was simply a bloodbath. Tens of thousands of cultivators became food for the 9 sons of the true dragon. In the latter half of the night, There were very few cultivators left alive. The air was filled with the smell of blood. Broken limbs that hadn't been eaten could be seen everywhere. Lin Feng and the others had nowhere to hide. They were found by the 9 sons of the true dragon and driven out. In the end, Lin Feng, the son of the Sky Demon Emperor, Gongxin Ye, Shen Daotian, Nalin Hanwei, Huan Yanma, and 3 other powerful cultivators were driven into a valley in 9 Beast Mountain. It was a valley of death. Chapter 26:20. Crack, crack! All the skeletons in Death Valley began to move. At this moment, the skeletons actually came back to life. Then, they turned into skeletons. These skeletons were extremely terrifying. Each skeleton exuded an eerie and terrifying aura. The eyes of the skeletons flickered with ghostly fire. The ghostly fire flickered violently. Lin Feng even sensed that some of the skeletons were communicating via divine will. They were surrounded. Not only were the 9 sons of the true dragons eyeing them covetously, but there were also so many skeletons. This place had been completely surrounded. To Lin Feng and the rest, the situation was extremely dangerous. Your bloodlines are very powerful, but you are destined to become our food. Qioniu looked coldly at Lin Feng and the rest. The killing intent in his eyes was not concealed at all. This creature's cultivation was exceptionally terrifying. Now, he was like a demon god looking down on Lin Feng and the rest. Perhaps in Qioniu's eyes, these cultivators before him, there was no hope of survival. Swoosh! At this moment, there was a flash of light. The son of the heavenly demon emperor was the first to disappear. It was unknown what method the son of the heavenly demon emperor had used to teleport away. One had to know that this was a land of death. It was densely covered with powerful restrictions. It was extremely terrifying. Even Lin Feng, who was a great scholar of deployment spells, couldn't leave that place. Let alone others. The son of the heavenly demon emperor was able to leave so smoothly, definitely not because of his own strength. Perhaps he had some amazing treasure on him. Then, he had to pay a certain price to escape. Of course, it was also possible that he had treasures like the Boundary Breaker Talisman. Such treasures were too precious. It was not something an ordinary person could possess. However, the son of the heavenly demon emperor had many treasures on him. His father had left behind many precious treasures for him in the past. Kill them! The 9 sons of the true dragons roared furiously. They charged towards Lin Feng and the rest. The skeletons also charged towards Lin Feng and the rest. Swoosh! 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 At this moment, rays of light flickered. Lin Feng saw Gong Xinye take out a jade talisman. It should be the boundary-breaking talisman. He crushed it and disappeared without a trace. Huan Yanma took out a mysterious small pagoda. It was a small green pagoda. His body quickly shrank and entered the small pagoda. Then, he quickly disappeared without a trace. Shen Daotian took out a mysterious ruler. The ruler cut open the void, and he entered the void to leave. Nalin Hanwei took out a golden flag. He didn't know what kind of flag it was. She grabbed the flag and chanted an incantation. After chanting a few incantations, his body began to turn illusory. Nalin Hanwei was about to escape. Qioniu suddenly stomped the ground. A powerful force condensed from the void. Then, that powerful force swept over Nalin Hanwei's body. Wow! Nalin Hanwei spat out a mouthful of blood, but she still managed to escape. Lin Feng suddenly felt a burst of envy and jealousy. These people all had magic treasures that could allow them to travel out of the land of death. Especially at this time, it came in handy. For a trapped person, it was impossible to not feel envy and jealousy. After Gong Xinye, the son of the Sky Demon Emperor, Huan Yanma, Shen Daotian, and Nalin Hanwei escaped. Now, only Lin Feng and the other 3 cultivators were left. The 3 cultivators were able to survive until now. From this, it could be seen how powerful they were. But, no matter how powerful their cultivation was, they were powerless to reverse the situation. because they didn't have any treasures that could allow them to travel out of the land of death. That kind of treasure would probably be destroyed after one use, because that kind of treasure was too heaven-defying. Generally, heaven-defying things would have extremely short lifespans. Of course, now wasn't the time to care about how many times those treasures could be used. What he needed to care about now was how to survive under the attacks of the 9 sons of the true dragon and a group of skeleton warriors. This group of terrifying creatures pounced over Lin Feng found that he couldn't dodge at all. He couldn't block the attacks of these terrifying creatures. Therefore, Lin Feng used the heaven-mending technique. He borrowed another chance from the heavens. Swish! Lin Feng disappeared without a trace. The 9 sons of the true dragon and a group of skeletons killed the 3 cultivators of the myriad races and then ate them. Lin Feng appeared outside the valley. But now, he was still in the land of death, so it was not realistic for him to get rid of the 9 sons of the true dragon. Lin Feng fled into the distance. Not long after, he was surrounded by the 9 sons of the true dragon. What a powerful bloodline! The 9 sons of the true dragon closed in on Lin Feng step by step. Every dragon's son's eyes flashed with a cold light. Lin Feng smiled bitterly at the 9 sons of the true dragon and said, "Everyone, don't be rash. Impulsiveness is the devil. Anything can be negotiated. Do you have the right to negotiate with us?" Qiu couldn't help but look at him with disdain. Bian said indifferently, "The meaning of your existence is to become our food." The 9 sons of the true dragon were about to pounce on Lin Feng when Lin Feng hurriedly took out the true dragon emperor's token. He didn't know if the token could intimidate the 9 sons of the true dragon. After all, it was a treasure that could intimidate dragons. Although the 9 sons of the true dragon emperor were the sons of the true dragon emperor, they weren't dragons. But now, Lin Feng had no other choice. He could only take a gamble. The real dragon's 9 sons, who were about to attack Lin Feng, couldn't believe their eyes when they saw the real dragon talisman. "The true dragon emperor's token! It's actually in your hands!" The hearts of the 9 sons of the true dragon were filled with waves of shock. They still remembered a conversation their father had with them. In the future, an extremely terrifying person will find the true dragon emperor's token and become the new master of the dragon race. At the time, the 9 sons of the true dragon emperor had asked if the person was a descendant of the primordial chaos era. However, their father had said he didn't dare reveal the person's identity. The only thing he could tell Qiu and the others was that even the ancestor of the sovereign imperial clan, Hong Meng, Daoist Luya, Hong Jun, ancestor Hun Kuan, and the others couldn't compare. When the 9 sons of the true dragon emperor heard that, they were shocked speechless. They hadn't expected this. Countless years later, the true dragon emperor's token really did reappear. However, the token had appeared in the hands of a human cultivator who wasn't very strong. This puzzled the 9 sons of the true dragon emperor. Chapter 26-21. After thinking about Lin Feng's possible identity, the 9 sons of the true dragon stopped attacking Lin Feng. This was because they had thought of something that made them extremely excited. If Lin Feng was really the person their father said he was, what level of expert would Lin Feng become in the future? When that time came, would he be able to help them break the curse? The 9 sons of the true dragon were very excited at this thought. Over the long years, they had almost forgotten who they were. The power of the curse was very terrifying, causing them to lose themselves. Fortunately, the 9 sons of the true dragon had extremely strong willpower. When they were about to fall again and again, they persevered and found their original selves. They did not forget who they were. They did not become slaves to the curse. However, they were destined to not be able to persevere forever. Perhaps they would not be able to hold on for long, if they were not able to break free at that time. At that time, they would become slaves to the curse. This was a very terrifying thing. At that time, they would completely lose themselves. They would not be able to forget anything, and they would even forget who they were. They would be no different from walking corpses. Thinking of this, The 9 sons of the true dragon could not help but feel terrified. They longed for freedom. They desperately wanted to be free. However, they had once given up hope because they could not see any hope. Things were different now. They saw a glimmer of hope in Lin Feng. Perhaps they could find a paradise of freedom from Lin Feng. Lin Feng did not know what the 9 sons of the true dragon were thinking, nor did he know what they were thinking. However, after seeing that the 9 sons of the true dragon did not continue attacking him, Lin Feng hurriedly said, "Everyone, the true dragon emperor's medallion is here. I have a relationship with the true dragon clan, so please calm down and let's talk things over." As the eldest of the 9 sons of the true dragon, Chionyo stepped forward and said, "You have the true dragon emperor's medallion, so we can spare your life. We can even let you go, but you have to promise us one thing." After hearing Chionyo's words, Lin Feng was finally able to breathe a sigh of relief. He asked, "What is it?" "In the future you have to help us break the curse," Chionyo said. When Tao Tai and the other dragon sons heard the words, "Remove the curse," they couldn't help but become a little excited. They really wanted to remove the curse on their bodies. For others, freedom was a way of life that was readily available. But to them, that was an extravagant hope. Lin Feng said, "The curse is very strange. I don't know if I have the ability to help you break the curse in the future, but if I have the ability, I will definitely help you break free in the future." Yezi said, "You have the true dragon emperor token, so you will definitely enter the dragon world in the future and lead the dragon race. We have another request." "Just say it," Lin Feng said. Yazi continued, "If you go to the dragon realm in the future, I hope you can go to our father's grave and help us pay tribute to our father." The 9 sons of the true dragon were all filial sons. This could be seen from how they sacrificed themselves to save their father. When the true dragon emperor fell, they had already been cursed in place of the mysterious person, so they could not leave 9 Beast Mountain. Naturally, they could not see the true dragon emperor's body. This was the regret of the 9 sons of the true dragon. They had not been able to pay their respects to their father since his fall. Lin Feng nodded. "Of course, no problem. Which real dragon great emperor is your father?" Chao Feng said. "Our father is the 8th true dragon emperor." Lin Feng said, "I will remember that. We will not treat you unfairly. How about this? We will each impart a divine ability to you. What divine ability do you want? Feel free to tell us," Chionyo said. Lin Feng was stunned. Then, he revealed a look of ecstasy. Each of them imparted a divine ability to him. The 9 sons of the true dragon would give him 9 divine abilities. Lin Feng had already learned many top-notch divine abilities. The divine ability he needed the most was the 3,000 Great Das. This was because the 3,000 Great Das were the foundation of cultivation. Becoming a quasi-emperor, emperor, immortal, etc. There were strict requirements for the 3,000 Great Das. The more Great Das one cultivated, the better. Similarly, one could cultivate to the Emperor realm. One could cultivate 300 Great Das. One person had cultivated 400 types of 3,000 Great Das. The two of them had the same cultivation level, but the difference in their combat power was immediately apparent. Lin Feng first thought of the top 10 Great Das. Among the top 10 Great Das, he cultivated the Great Fate Art, Great Karma Art, Great Reincarnation Art, Great Yin-Yang Art, Great Calamity Art, and Great Longevity Art. In addition, he did not cultivate the Great Fate Art, Great Creation Art, Great Eternity Art, and Great Devouring Art. Lin Feng asked, "Do you have the Great Fate Art, Great Creation Art, Great Eternity Art, and Great Devouring Art?" Chionyo said, "We don't have the Great Fate Art. You have to comprehend these Great Das by yourself. Even if others impart them to you, you won't be able to cultivate them. As for the Great Creation Art, Great Eternity Art, and Great Devouring Art, we have them." Lin Feng had expected that the 9 sons of the true dragon would not grasp the Great Fate Art. It was a pleasant surprise that they had grasped the Great Creation Art, Great Eternity Art, and Great Devouring Art. This made Lin Feng extremely happy. These were the top 10 great Das, and each one was more heaven-defying than the last. The top 10 great Das could not be compared to the other great Das. If he could obtain the great creation art, great eternity art, and great devouring art, then Lin Feng would have already cultivated the top 10 great Das, with the exception of the great fate art. Perhaps apart from the Red World Fairy, Lin Feng was the only person in the world who could gather all 9 great Das. Lin Feng recalled that his great fate art was only a part of the great fate art. There were still 2 parts that were lost in the past and the future. He asked, "Do you have the great fate art?" Chionio shook his head. "No. Of the top 5 great Daos, we have not grasped the other 4 great Daos apart from the great creation art." Since Chionio did not have the great fate art, Lin Feng asked, "What other powerful great Daos do you have?" "Great massacre art, great death substitution art, great transformation art, great black art, great thunderclap art, great rupture art, great prayer art." Chionio then listed several dozen great Das. Lin Feng had already cultivated some of the great Das, but he had not cultivated some of them. He chose 6 of the 3,000 great Das. Chapter 26-22. These 9 3,000 great Daos each had their own merits, but they were all very powerful. The great creation technique was ranked 5th among the 3,000 great Daos. As the saying went, karma and reincarnation appeared, and creation was divine. Everything in the world had its own creation. For example, a green lotus might become a demon overlord if it obtained the creation. A beggar might become an emperor if he obtained the creation. A weak cultivator might become a peerless expert if he obtained the creation. The so-called opportunity, from a certain perspective, was a type of creation. Therefore, the Tao of creation was a mysterious great Tao. This was an extremely profound great Tao. Controlling the power of creation would give one many heaven-defying abilities. The great eternity technique was also very heaven-defying. The eternal Tao was said to be able to stop time and turn everything between heaven and earth into static. Of course, it would be very difficult to cultivate to this extent. Lin Feng was not particularly unfamiliar with the great death substitution technique. Originally, the celestial master lineage had an inheritance called the death substitution technique, but this inheritance was taken away by the earth master lineage. This inheritance was a divine ability that evolved from the great death substitution technique. The great massacre technique was an offensive divine ability with extremely terrifying attack power. The great bloodline technique was said to be able to continuously increase the purity of one's bloodline. When activating the power of one's bloodline to fight against an enemy, the great bloodline technique would play a role in promoting it. It could allow a cultivator's bloodline power to be fully unleashed. This was extremely frightening. This was because when cultivators fought, due to various reasons, the bloodline power could not be fully unleashed. Sometimes, it was already good enough to be able to unleash half of the bloodline power. However, after cultivating the great bloodline technique, one would no longer have to worry about not being able to unleash the bloodline power. The great starry sky technique could condense a starry sky world. In the void, the stars were dazzling. However, when the stars fell, it would be as terrifying as the end of the world. This was an offensive divine ability. It had an extremely terrifying offensive power. Once the great void technique was successfully cultivated, one could hide in the void and become a part of the void. This was the best concealment technique. The void travel that Lin Feng had cultivated before. It also had part of the ability of the great void technique, but it was only part of it. What was truly terrifying was the great void technique. It was said that it could travel as far as 100 miles. Void travel, on the other hand, could only travel a few hundred meters. Of course, what Lin Feng liked the most was the concealment ability of the great void technique. After cultivating the great void technique, he could hide from the world. Once he hid in the void and merged with the void, it would be very difficult to find him. The great hegemony technique was a very special technique. The great hegemony art was a support-type divine ability, so it didn't have much power by itself. This divine ability needed to be used together with Haki. In other words, only cultivators who had mastered Haki could use the Great Haki technique. The Great Haki technique could increase the power of a cultivator's Haki. The higher the level of the Great Haki technique, the more significant the increase in Haki. At most, it was said that it could be increased by 33 times. It was the same as the 8-9 mysteries. He didn't know if there was any relationship between the two divine abilities. In addition, the Great Hegemonic Aura technique had another very important function, which was to help cultivators cultivate their hegemonic aura. For example, Lin Feng was currently cultivating the White Tiger Haki. The Great Hegemonic Aura technique could help Lin Feng cultivate the White Tiger Haki as soon as possible. It could be said that each of the 9 Grand Daos had their own merits. The 9 Grand Daos that Lin Feng had chosen were all very useful to him. Lin Feng said, "You guys have been here for a long time. Let me ask around for some information." "What information?" Chionio asked. "About 30 years ago, did someone enter the Southern Immortal Demon Realm?" Lin Feng asked. He wanted to ask about Dugiya. However, he didn't know if Dugiya had really entered the Southern Immortal Demon Realm. If not, in this vast Southern Ocean, where could he find him? The Southern Immortal Demon Realm is connected to many different space-times. Every year, cultivators enter the Southern Immortal Demon Realm, Chionio said. This shocked Lin Feng. He didn't expect the Southern Immortal Demon Realm to hide such a secret. 30 years ago, did any cultivators enter the Southern Immortal Demon Realm? Lin Feng asked. 30 years ago? Cultivators from the 9 provinces? The 9 sons of the true dragon frowned as they tried to recall. Chiwen said, "If it's 30 years ago, I do remember a group of cultivators entering the Southern Immortal Demon Realm. At that time, the door of eternal life appeared in the Southern Immortal Demon Realm and caused a space-time reversal. A passage in the Southern Immortal Demon Realm collapsed and a group of cultivators from the 9 provinces entered the Southern Immortal Demon Realm. However, the passage quickly recovered and those cultivators were trapped in the Southern Immortal Demon Realm." Lin Feng's face was filled with excitement. Dugiya was probably among the group that entered the Southern Immortal Demon Realm. He was his father's best friend. He wondered how Dugiya was doing now. Lin Feng asked. "Where are those people? They entered the Southern Immortal Demon Realm's Devil Prison, right? Perhaps you can go there and take a look. I wonder if they're still alive," Chionio said. "Where is the Devil Prison?" Lin Feng asked. "The Devil Prison is in the deepest part of the Southern Immortal Demon Realm. It's a place shrouded in black fog. There's a heaven-shaking steel sealed in the Devil Prison. There's a terrifying creature guarding the Devil Prison. Many cultivators who entered the Southern Immortal Demon Realm wanted to search for the steel, but very few were able to find anything. Many died in the Devil Prison," Fu and I said. "All right, thank you for telling me. I'll go take a look at the Devil Prison now." Lin Feng cupped his fists. Then he left. After Lin Feng left, the 9 sons of the true dragon returned to the abyss in the deepest part of 9 Beast Mountain. "Back then, Father sealed a memory in our minds. It requires the 9 of us to work together to open the seal. That seal is Father's prophecy. The prophecy will reveal the identity of the person who holds the true Dragon Emperor token," Chionio said. Fu and I said, "Now that that person has appeared, let's open this memory that has been sealed for countless years and see what kind of origin this person has." The 9 sons of the true dragon nodded. They really wanted to know Lin Feng's identity. This question had been perplexing them for many years. Now, this secret was finally going to be revealed. Therefore, the 9 sons of the true dragon were very excited. The 9 sons of the true dragon opened a piece of information sealed in their souls together. Their divine senses searched for this piece of information. Heavens! Chapter 26-23. The area where the Devil Prison was located was shrouded in a black fog. Within the black fog, waves of gloomy aura permeated the air, causing one's heart to tremble. By the time Lin Feng arrived, there were already cultivators entering the area. Clearly, other cultivators had also discovered the extraordinariness of the area and wanted to enter to search for opportunities. Soon news spread. It was said that a heaven-shaking steel had appeared in the area, causing a huge uproar. Countless cultivators gathered in the area. As expected, the news can't be hidden anymore. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. Once news was exposed, it couldn't be hidden at all. Previously, the 9 sons of the true dragon had said that there was a terrifying creature guarding the heaven-shaking steel in the devil prison. Clearly, when the cultivators who entered the devil prison discovered the steel, they would think of a way to gather more cultivators to deal with the terrifying creature. With the power they possessed, it was unrealistic to want to deal with the terrifying creature in the devil prison. Therefore, they had to find more cultivators to participate. It wasn't certain who would be able to obtain the opportunity here. Currently, the heaven-shaking steel couldn't be refined. Not many cultivators knew this. Lin Feng had heard about it from the Reincarnation Immortal Sutra. Some of the cultivators who entered the devil prison wanted to snatch the heaven-shaking steel. Perhaps some of them just wanted to comprehend some powerful divine abilities from the steel. One had to know that the divine abilities recorded on the heaven-shaking steel were extremely heaven-defying. For example, there were some top immortal techniques, various 3,000 great Das, and even the Great Fate Art. Perhaps some people would be extremely lucky and comprehend the Great Fate Art. From then on, they would have a meteoric rise. It was not impossible for one to transform into an invincible being. Mastering the Great Fate Art. Anything was possible. Why is this place called the Devil Prison? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. He thought of the Devil Prison in the underworld. It was said to be a place where many terrifying creatures were imprisoned. It was a forbidden place. If one wanted to barge in, only death would await them. A place called the Devil Prison had appeared in the southern immortal devil realm. Naturally, Lin Feng's imagination ran wild. In the depths of the Devil Prison, there was a huge stone tablet that was 1,000 meters tall. It was chained up by chains. A total of 108 chains bound the stone tablet. That stone tablet was indeed a heaven-shaking stone tablet. When Lin Feng saw the sky-shaking stone tablet, he couldn't help but be pleasantly surprised. It wasn't the first time he had seen a sky-shaking stone tablet. Every time he saw one, his heart was pounding. The heaven-shaking stone tablet was too extraordinary. Now, his emotions were surging as he wanted to find out some secrets from the heaven-shaking stone tablet. He just didn't know if he would be able to uncover those secrets. Currently, the surroundings of the heaven-shaking steel were filled with rolling black fog. When Lin Feng saw the black fog, he had the feeling that something was wrong. Why did the black fog look so much like the black fog created by the creatures in the black fog? Could it be that the mysterious creature that suppressed the heaven-shaking steel and guarded this place was the creature in the black fog? The living beings within the black fog were living beings from the previous era. Who knew how terrifying their cultivation states were? It would be fine if the cultivation level of the creatures in the black fog had dropped, but if it hadn't, then it would have been fine. If they didn't, it would be too terrifying. No one was a match for them. Lin Feng took out the stone dagger. He couldn't use the stone sword in the Chonglu Devil Palace for now. If he could use the stone sword, Lin Feng wouldn't be afraid of the living beings within the black fog. With the stone sword in hand, he could kill the living beings within the black fog. The key was that he couldn't use the stone sword. Therefore, he could only use the stone dagger to attack the living beings within the black fog. It's indeed the living beings within the black fog. I can already sense the aura of those terrifying living beings, the Demon Lord said solemnly. Then, he continued, the living beings within the black fog seem to be in a strange state. Their combat power is far from what we imagined. In the past, the living beings within the black fog could even kill great emperors. From this, it could be seen how terrifying the living beings within the black fog were. Now that the Demon Lord said that the living beings within the black fog weren't as powerful as they imagined, it seemed that something had happened to the living beings within the black fog. Something must have happened in the past that caused the living beings from the previous era to be severely injured. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He had seen some images of tribes evolving into cities. After the tribes evolved into cities, the living beings within the black fog rarely appeared. However, some of the things that happened were extremely complicated. It wasn't something that could be explained by some simple images. The undefeatable living beings of the previous era had their cultivation states greatly reduced. Something big must have happened in the past. The drastic reduction in the combat power of the living beings within the black fog might be related to these unforeseen events. Of course, even though the living beings within the black fog had a drastic reduction in their cultivation states, they were still very powerful. Previously, when Lin Feng encountered the living beings within the black fog, he almost suffered a calamity. He didn't act rashly. Instead, he waited for the other major factions to make their move. The strongest force now was the myriad races. The myriad races had descended upon the 9 prefectures. A large part of the reason was the heaven-shaking stone steel in the southern immortal devil realm. Now, the experts of the myriad races had gathered. They would definitely make a move. When the time came, Lin Feng planned to act according to the situation. I haven't seen Senior Duguya in the depths of the devil prison. Senior Duguya couldn't have died, right? When Lin Feng thought of Duguya, his heart couldn't help but sink. If he couldn't find Duguya, he wouldn't know where his mother was sealed. Therefore, Lin Feng kept praying in his heart, hoping that Senior Duguya was still alive. Sever the chains and release the heaven-shaking stone steel. The myriad races also control a heaven-shaking stone steel. The one we control is an extreme yin stone steel, while this one is an extreme yang stone steel. I wonder if the one we control can successfully lure this steel to the heavenly sage great world? It's a pity that we can't refine these heaven-shaking stone steels. Although we can't refine them now, we can use another one to suppress this one. Some of the old antiques of the myriad races communicated with each other. Ordinary cultivators of the myriad races didn't know that the heaven-shaking stone steels couldn't be refined. However, these ancient existences were aware of this fact. Let's wait a little longer. There are still a few fellow Taoists who haven't arrived yet, an old antique expert said. The experts of the myriad races were waiting. In addition, some peak experts of the 9 prefectures had also arrived. Similarly, peak experts of the extraterrestrial races had also arrived. Boom! 3 days later, a terrifying aura spread throughout the world. A 1,000-meter-long golden sacred sword flew over from afar, slashing out a 1,000-meter-long sword ray. Chapter 26-24. Golden Holy Sword. The Golden Heavenly Deity clan has made their move! The cultivators of the myriad races exclaimed when they saw the Golden Holy Sword. The Golden Holy Sword was extraordinary. Its origin was terrifying. It was an ancient imperial weapon. It was said to be an ancient imperial weapon refined by a sage emperor. An ancient imperial weapon like that was extremely heaven-defying. It was said that this ancient imperial weapon was extremely close to the immortal weapon level. The attack of such a powerful ancient imperial weapon was naturally peerless and terrifying. It was so powerful that it could cause one's expression to change. The ancient imperial weapon slammed into the chains that wrapped around the heaven-shaking steel. Clang! A sonorous sound of collision was heard. That tyrannical attack landed on the chains. Sparks flew in all directions. A powerful ancient imperial weapon like the Golden Holy Sword was actually unable to break the chains. The chains that wrapped around the heaven-shaking steel were simply too extraordinary. Lowly living beings, retreat quickly. Otherwise, all of you will die here. A cold voice was heard from the black fog. The voice carried an innate arrogance. It was just like how the myriad races looked down on the other races. In the eyes of the living beings in the black fog, the myriad races were a lowly race. A race that could not even enter their eyes. Attack! The experts of the myriad races shouted coldly. One after another, powerful existences flew toward the heaven-shaking steel with supreme treasures in their hands. A total of 4 ancient imperial weapon-level treasures appeared. Apart from the Golden Holy Sword, There was also a huge blood-colored axe. It was also an ancient imperial weapon-level treasure. There was also a long saber. It was also an ancient imperial weapon-level treasure. The fourth ancient imperial weapon was a meteor hammer. These 4 ancient imperial weapons were brought by the myriad races. It seemed like the myriad races were determined to break the chains that wrapped around the heaven-shaking steel. At this moment, the heaven-shaking steel emitted a shocking fluctuation. Something shocking happened. Runes appeared on the heaven-shaking steel. Those runes were branded on the heaven-shaking steel. Each rune was like a character. They were indeed characters. However, those characters were very mysterious. They were surrounded by the aura of the Great Tao. It was unknown what kind of characters they were. Of course, it did not matter if the cultivators did not recognize those characters. As long as one could comprehend the Tao contained within. Then, he would be able to comprehend the contents of the words. A lot of words have appeared on the heaven-shaking stone tablet. The heaven-shaking stone tablet's opportunity has arrived. Hurry up and remember those words. As long as you remember one word, it will be a great opportunity. Some of the cultivators shouted out in excitement. Everyone was covering the opportunities on the heaven-shaking stone tablet. Countless cultivators rushed toward the heaven-shaking stone steel. Despicable creatures, go to hell. There weren't many of them, only about 100 of them. It was unknown what kind of creatures they were, but they were abnormally terrifying as they lingered in the black fog. The 100+ living beings fought against the army of cultivators. Puff! 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 A large number of cultivators were killed. However, there were also people who managed to break through to a place not far from the heaven-shaking steel and memorize some of the words that appeared on the heaven-shaking steel. Then, those cultivators quickly left. They had obtained a great opportunity and were not greedy. They wanted to find a place to comprehend it. The battle was extremely tragic. The cultivators of the 10,000 races wanted to break the chains and release the heaven-shaking stone tablet. In order to prevent this from happening, the living beings in the black fog kept killing the surrounding cultivators. Lin Feng also rushed to the heaven-shaking stone tablet. He first imprinted the soul imprint of the Reincarnation Immortal Sutra into the heaven-shaking stone tablet. Then, Lin Feng imprinted his soul imprint into it. As for whether or not he could refine the heaven-shaking stone tablet in the future, or who could refine the heaven-shaking stone tablet, it was not something that Lin Feng could decide. It would depend on the opportunities and fortunes in the future. A cloud of black fog flew over. There was a terrifying living being hidden in it. Its sharp claws scratched toward Lin Feng. At that moment, Lin Feng actually felt a strong sense of death. He felt that he could not resist that attack at all. The living being in the black fog was indeed powerful. Its cultivation was so terrifying that it made one tremble in fear. Lin Feng activated his supreme aura. With the aura protecting his body, he regained his mobility. Then, he held the stone dagger in his hand and directly stabbed at the other party's sharp claws. Puff! The stone dagger in Lin Feng's hand directly pierced through the black fog living being's claws. Blood immediately spurted out. The stone dagger could hurt the living being in the black fog. This move worked every time. Stone tools. The living being in the black fog let out an angry roar. He quickly retreated and looked at Lin Feng with his cold eyes. His eyes were filled with deep hatred and resentment. He wanted to tear Lin Feng into pieces. He let out a call. 3 living beings in the black fog rushed over from afar. A total of 4 living beings in the black fog surrounded Lin Feng. Ordinary stone tools can't hurt us. Only some special stone tools can hurt us. The stone dagger in your hand is very extraordinary. The injured living being in the black fog said coldly. The surrounding temperature seemed to have suddenly dropped by many degrees. Lin Feng's expression became extremely ugly. He might not be able to deal with 1 living being in the black fog, let alone 4 of them. Now, Lin Feng was in huge trouble. If he was not careful, he might die here. Oh right, the heaven-shaking steel. I still have the heaven-shaking steel! Lin Feng's face was filled with surprise. He thought of his precious heaven-shaking steel. Although the two heaven-shaking steels were incomplete, perhaps they could be used to great effect. The world's most mysterious stone tools. It was definitely the heaven-shaking steel. Lin Feng took out the two heaven-shaking steels. Then, he activated the heaven-shaking art. Suddenly, Lin Feng realized that the two heaven-shaking steels had a very wonderful fusion with him under the effect of the heaven-shaking art. At the same time, two beams of light shot out from the complete heaven-shaking steel and entered the two incomplete heaven-shaking steels in Lin Feng's hand. Many mysterious runes appeared on the two incomplete heaven-shaking steels. Those runes contained unimaginable power. Lin Feng was shocked. Those runes were terrifying. He quickly activated the two heaven-shaking steels and smashed them at the four living beings in the black fog. Even though they were incomplete heaven-shaking steels, the power they contained was unimaginable. Bang! 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 Four dull sounds of collisions were heard. The four living beings in the black fog were sent flying. Each of them coughed up blood. Chapter 26-25. It's that powerful? Lin Feng was shocked. He didn't expect the two broken heaven-shaking steels to be so powerful. Previously, Lin Feng had carried the heaven-shaking steels and killed dozens of foreign creatures. However, the heaven-shaking stone tablet that he had carried back then was a complete one. The current heaven-shaking steel was an incomplete heaven-shaking steel. There was a huge difference between the two. Therefore, the incomplete heaven-shaking steels were able to display such powerful might. Lin Feng was also shocked. Hurry up and remember the runes on the heaven-shaking steels. If you can master those runes, you might be able to activate the two incomplete heaven-shaking steels in the future. The demon lord hurriedly transmitted his voice to Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded. He hurriedly memorized the runes on the two heaven-shaking steels. At this moment, the four creatures in the black fog called out at the same time. The four creatures in the black fog began to call for their companions. In the distance, more than 10 creatures in the black fog rushed over. Seeing so many creatures in the black fog rushing over, Lin Feng didn't dare to stay any longer. He turned around and ran into the distance. Although he was in control of two damaged heaven-shaking steels, and these two damaged heaven-shaking steels were still extremely powerful. However, if more than a dozen creatures in the black fog were to attack him at the same time, Lin Feng wouldn't be able to take it. Therefore, when he saw the creatures in the black fog attacking him, Lin Feng didn't hesitate and turned around to run. If he was too slow, he might really die here. Kid, you can't escape! The creatures in the black fog quickly chased after Lin Feng. Roar, 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 let us out! When Lin Feng was leaving, he heard a series of roars coming from the depths. Lin Feng was shocked. This was obviously not the sound of the creatures in the black fog. Could it be that someone was imprisoned in the depths of the black fog? Thinking of this, Lin Feng hurriedly rushed toward the depths. He saw a pitch-black demonic mountain. The demonic mountain was surrounded by runes, and the creature in the black fog had dug out a cave abode on the demonic mountain. That cave abode was actually a cage that imprisoned many cultivators. At this moment, there were two creatures in the black fog guarding the outside of the cage. Could it be that Senior Dugiya is imprisoned here? Lin Feng couldn't help but reveal an excited expression. He quickly flew in the direction of the cage. Lowly creature, how dare you approach the heavenly prison? Die! A living being in the black fog charged towards Lin Feng with murderous intent in its eyes. This living being was extremely terrifying. Lin Feng even felt that the creature in the black fog had the power to instantly kill him. However, Lin Feng was now in control of two incomplete heaven-shaking stone steels. Everything in the world had its own counter. It was the same between cultivators. The living being in the black fog was restrained by Lin Feng's heaven-shaking stone steels. Although its cultivation was strong, it wasn't a match for Lin Feng at all. Lin Feng controlled the heaven-shaking stone steels to smash towards the living being in the black fog. Bang! Bang! 2 consecutive violent collisions were heard. The living being in the black fog was directly sent flying. "Little brother, quickly come and save us!" The cultivators standing at the entrance of the cage originally thought that Lin Feng was dead for sure, but when they saw Lin Feng send the living being in the black fog flying, they immediately revealed an excited expression. One by one they shouted. Lin Feng quickly rushed over and controlled the heaven-shaking stone steels to smash towards the other living being in the black fog. Bam! The heaven-shaking stone steel's power was simply too domineering. It also sent the second living being in the black fog flying. The injuries of the second living being in the black fog were even more severe than the first. They didn't continue to attack Lin Feng. Instead, they shouted for their companions. The dozen or so living beings in the black fog were already chasing after them. "Let me ask you, do you know someone called Dugia?" Lin Feng didn't directly release these people. Instead, he asked what he wanted to know. He was worried that after releasing these fellows, when the time came, these fellows would scatter. Who would still care about him? "Dugia? Who is that? Who is Dugia? Quickly come and meet this little brother," someone said anxiously. At this moment, the dozen or so living beings in the black fog were about to rush over. When those living beings in the black fog arrived, their hopes of escaping would be completely extinguished. "I know someone called Dugia. About 30 years ago, he entered the southern immortal demon realm with us in the southern immortal sea. However, before the passage to the southern immortal demon realm was repaired, he left. Those of us who didn't leave the southern immortal demon realm in time were all trapped in the southern immortal demon realm. Many of us were killed, and some of us were captured and imprisoned by those terrifying living beings," an old man said aloud. "He left the southern immortal demon realm?" Lin Feng was shocked. He didn't expect to hear such news. It seemed that Dugia hadn't shown himself after leaving the southern immortal demon realm. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to hide his tracks so perfectly. "Little brother, quickly let us out. We'll pray for you every day." One by one, the cultivators trapped in the cages began begging for mercy. The door of the cage was made of forbidden immortal iron. Cultivators who were trapped inside would have their magic power restricted. Therefore, they didn't have the ability to break the cage. Lin Feng had already gotten the answer he wanted. He hurriedly used the 2 pieces of the heaven-shaking stone steels to smash the door of the cage. Clang! Clang! 2 consecutive dull sounds of collision were heard. The cage was directly blasted open by the heaven-shaking stone steels. Lin Feng turned around and flew into the distance. As for the imprisoned cultivators, they rushed out. At least 1,000 cultivators with terrifying strength charged out from the prison. Those cultivators were probably cultivators who had entered the southern immortal demon realm from different space-times. And these cultivators were all imprisoned by the living beings in the black fog. Now, they had regained their freedom. These cultivators all rushed towards the living beings in the black fog. Lin Feng used this opportunity to quickly leave the devil prison. After coming out of the devil prison, Lin Feng didn't stop. He quickly flew out of the southern immortal demon realm. The southern immortal devil realm was too dangerous, no matter what fortuitous encounters there were. Even if there were any opportunities, Lin Feng didn't care anymore. He just wanted to quickly leave the southern immortal demon realm, and then go out to continue searching for Dugia's whereabouts. Now, Lin Feng urgently needed to find Dugia. He didn't know where Dugia was. Lin Feng guessed that Dugia was probably in seclusion somewhere after coming out of the southern immortal demon realm. That was why there was no news of Dugia in the outside world. When Lin Feng was about to leave the southern immortal demon realm, he saw a huge stone steel soaring into the sky and flying out of the southern immortal demon realm. Chapter 26:26. The heaven-shaking steel was free. It had broken free from the suppression of the living beings in the black fog and was now free. Many cultivators were chasing after the heaven-shaking steel, wanting to refine it. However, it was not realistic at all. They could only wait until the end of the era. Only then would the heaven-shaking steel look for its owner. Lin Feng saw the heaven-shaking steel flying over him. He also made an attempt and took out the heaven-swallowing jar. He wanted to use the heaven-swallowing jar to devour the heaven-shaking steel. Of course, it ended in failure. The heaven-shaking steel quickly flew into the distance and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Soon, Lin Feng also left the southern immortal demon realm. He planned to return to the Dragon Gate Island and mobilize the Dragon Gate's power to search for Duguya. However, Lin Feng did not expect that more than 20 terrifying living beings would catch up to him on the third day after he left the southern immortal demon realm. In the sea, blue waves rippled. The sky was clear and there were no clouds in sight. The black fog was rolling. There were more than 20 living beings floating in the black fog. They were really a group of heaven-defying existences. Even though the living beings in the black fog were no longer as powerful as before. That was only in a relative sense. In fact, they were still so powerful that it was almost impossible to fight against them. With the help of the heaven-shaking steel, Lin Feng could fight against 7 to 8 living beings in the black fog, which was already his limit. However, more than 20 living beings in the black fog had appeared and he could not fight against them at all. Of course, the most important thing now was Lin Feng could not activate the heaven-shaking steel. The reason why he could activate the 2 incomplete heaven-shaking steels was that the complete heaven-shaking steel shot out 2 mysterious beams of light. Those 2 beams of light. They poured into Lin Feng's 2 incomplete heaven-shaking steels. Lin Feng's 2 incomplete heaven-shaking steels were activated. Previously, Lin Feng remembered the runes that appeared on the 2 incomplete heaven-shaking steels. He guessed that those runes were related to activating the heaven-shaking steels. Most importantly, after coming out of the southern immortal demon realm, Lin Feng did not have time to comprehend those runes at all. Therefore, Lin Feng was unable to activate the 2 incomplete heaven-shaking stone steels. In the face of the pursuit of more than 20 creatures in the black fog, now, he could only flee. "Despicable creature, you won't be able to escape. We'll kill you and take away your steel," a creature shrouded in black fog said sinisterly. Lin Feng's expression was gloomy. He didn't answer the creature in the black fog. He quickly flew into the distance. However, it was too difficult to escape from the creatures in the black fog while fleeing in the boundless ocean. The scene in front of him was simply despairing. Lin Feng knew this wasn't going to work, but he couldn't think of a way to get rid of the creature in the black fog. "Lowly creature, no matter how you struggle, the result will be the same," a sinister voice came from behind. The creatures in the black fog all looked at Lin Feng with extremely cold expressions. "What's with the pretense? You don't have much cultivation left," Lin Feng mocked. After hearing Lin Feng's mockery, the creatures in the black fog's expressions instantly turned gloomy. When the era began, their cultivation had reached the peak. Because they had survived the destruction of the era and arrived at the new era. They had obtained the majestic fate of the era. Therefore, their cultivation could be described as skyrocketing. However, as time passed, more and more powerful creatures appeared. Some of them displayed talents that made them fearful. They tried to destroy those creatures again and again, but they failed in the end. Later on, they were suppressed by an extremely powerful existence with the power of fate for many years. Many of them died. A small number of them survived. Their cultivation dropped drastically. This was the current situation of the creatures in the black fog. No matter how powerful they were in the past, they had now declined. However, they had a way to recover their former glory. The key was the heaven-shaking stone steel. Of course, the door of everlasting life and the supreme divine court could also help them recover. However, they didn't know where the door of everlasting life and the supreme divine court were. They placed all their hopes on the heaven-shaking stone steel. The heaven-shaking stone steel that they suppressed regained its freedom. Now, these creatures in the black fog had set their sights on Lin Feng. Although Lin Feng had an incomplete heaven-shaking stone steel. However, the creatures in the black fog had a way to use the incomplete heaven-shaking stone steel to find the complete one. Lin Feng was gradually caught up by the creatures in the black fog. His expression was extremely ugly because Lin Feng still hadn't thought of a way to get rid of these creatures. You will bid farewell to this world in 2 hours at most, a creature in the black fog said coldly. Lin Feng naturally knew that the current situation was extremely bad. His speed had increased a lot. However, he still couldn't avoid the pursuit of the creatures in the black fog. He was less than 1,000 meters away from the creatures in the black fog. He could be caught by the creatures in the black fog at any time. At this moment, a loud rumbling sound suddenly came from the void. Then, a huge ship flew out. That huge ship. It was surrounded by the curse power. It was actually the boat of curse. The crew on the boat of curse stood on the deck and looked at Lin Feng. Kid, why aren't you getting on the ship? If you don't get on the ship, you will die, the captain of the boat of curse said with a laugh. Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. He didn't expect the boat of curse to appear at this time. If he didn't get on the ship, he would die. If he got on the ship, he would rather die. Grandpa Martin walked out of the cabin and said with a smile, Get on the ship. At least you can still live. After seeing Grandpa Martin, Lin Feng couldn't help but feel speechless. He had long guessed that Grandpa Martin wasn't a good person. It was just as he had guessed. This guy actually got together with the boat of curse. What? Did Grandpa Martin also become a part of the boat of curse? Lin Feng couldn't help but mock. No, it's just that Grandpa Martin became their military advisor. Grandpa Martin smiled. Lin Feng had no other choice. He quickly flew toward the boat of curse. Kill him! Dozens of creatures in the black fog had gloomy expressions. They began to attack, wanting to kill Lin Feng. At this moment, the boat of curse flew toward Lin Feng. Lin Feng boarded the boat of curse. The attacks from the creatures in the black fog were all blocked by the cursed light shield released by the boat of curse. Hand that brat over, or all of you will die, said Lin Feng. Chapter 26-27. The creatures in the black fog all had monstrous dermic powers and their eyes were cold. They surrounded the boat of curse. Lin Feng stood on the boat of curse and looked at the creatures in the black fog with an extremely cold gaze. If these guys had not been chasing him relentlessly, how could they have caught up with him? Lin Feng wished he could kill all these guys now. However, he did not have the ability to do so. However, it seemed that these creatures in the black fog were going to fight with the captain of the boat of curse. It would be best if both sides were injured and he could find an opportunity to escape. Trying to escape? Since you've boarded the boat of curse, you should give up as soon as possible because your every move and thought can't be hidden from me. The captain of the boat of curse looked at Lin Feng and the corners of his mouth curled up into a mocking smile. Now, Lin Feng finally knew why the rumors said that once one boarded the boat of curse, the cultivator could no longer leave the boat of curse. It seemed that the key factor was the captain of the boat of curse. When a cultivator boarded the boat of curse, no matter how powerful his cultivation level was, he would be suppressed by the captain of the boat of curse. Moreover, the actions of the cultivator who boarded the boat of curse could not be hidden from the captain of the boat of curse. This was also the reason why the cultivator could no longer get rid of the boat of curse after boarding it. Therefore, when Lin Feng had the idea of leaving the boat of curse, the captain of the boat of curse immediately knew about it. Unless one's cultivation level could suppress the captain of the boat of curse, they would never be able to escape. Master Martin patted Lin Feng's shoulder. He said with a smile, Since you've boarded the boat of curse, behave yourself. We'll be very carefree on the boat of curse together. Lin Feng now had the urge to kill Master Martin with one punch. He had just boarded the boat of curse. However, as time went by, Lin Feng knew that his body was going to turn into a skeleton. When that time came, he would have to endure endless pain. He would not feel any joy. He would rather die. The captain of the boat of curse continued, If you want to die, you can try to escape. Don't blame me for not giving you advice. Lin Feng's expression was gloomy, but he didn't say anything. He was well aware of how bad his current situation was. But now, he couldn't think of any way to escape from the boat of curse. Maybe I can use that thing. I just don't know if it's useful. Lin Feng thought of something. The captain of the boat of curse sneered and said, "It's useless. No matter what you use, you can't escape." The captain of the boat of curse obviously had absolute confidence in himself. The captain of the boat of curses didn't pay attention to them, he just kept talking to Lin Feng. The creature in the black fog was instantly enraged. The creature within the black fog was an arrogant existence. Now that they were being ignored like this, it would be strange if they were not angry. The creature in the black fog looked at the captain of the boat of curse fiercely. His eyes were flashing with killing intent. One of the creatures in the black fog said coldly, "Reckless things, it seems like I have to kill you lowly creatures today. Get lost. Otherwise, this place will become your burial ground." The captain of the boat of curse was very domineering. He looked indifferently at the creature in the black fog who spoke. His tone was filled with disdain. The creature in the black fog had an immortal body. Now that he had mastered a trace of the path of destiny, he naturally didn't fear the creature in the black fog. "You're courting death, you're courting death!" The creature in the black fog couldn't help but shout coldly. An endless amount of black fog was rolling. It flew toward the captain of the boat of curse. The creature in the black fog attacked the captain of the boat of curse. The captain of the boat of curse looked indifferent, and punched the creature in the black fog. The creature in the black fog was so powerful that it directly broke the captain's fist technique. Then, the captain of the boat of curse was forced to retreat. However, he couldn't enter the boat of curse. He was blocked outside by the cursed light shield formed by the boat of curse. "The creature in the black fog is so powerful." Lin Feng's expression was very gloomy. He originally thought that the captain of the boat of curse could easily defeat the creature in the black fog. He didn't expect this result. "Too weak. I thought it was more powerful." Lin Feng couldn't help but curl his lips. Immediately, a crew member on the boat of curse sneered and said, "What do you know? The captain hasn't recovered his strength yet. He has only recovered less than 1/10,000th of his strength. Otherwise, he would be able to crush the creature in the black fog as easily as crushing an ant." Lin Feng curled his lips and said, "If you're weak, then you're weak. Why are you looking for excuses?" When the captain of the boat of curse heard Lin Feng's words, he had the urge to stomp Lin Feng to death. How dare Lin Feng say that his cultivation was weak? "Do you know that you'll be killed in an instant if you fight the creature in the black fog with your measly cultivation? What right do you have to say that I'm weak?" The captain of the boat of curse couldn't help but think viciously. He decided to show off his powerful strength. "That grand Tao of fate," Lin Feng murmured. The captain of the boat of curse began to chant a mysterious and complicated incantation. It was the incantation of the great fate art. The captain of the boat of curse was summoning the power of fate. Boom! A terrifying aura emanated from the void. The aura descended from the sky and enveloped the area. It blasted toward the creature in the black fog. The terrifying power of the attack was simply too strong. The expression of the creature within the black fog changed drastically. It wanted to dodge, but it was already too late. It had no choice but to block the attack. However, the divine ability that the creature condensed was instantly broken. Then, the power of fate tore the creature's body in half. Blood splattered everywhere. The creature in the black fog died a miserable death. When Lin Feng saw that, he was astonished. The creature in the black fog was so powerful, but it was killed by the captain of the boat of curse with a single attack. Just how powerful was the attack from the captain of the boat of curse? It was simply unbelievable. Unbelievable. Lin Feng couldn't help but be deeply shocked. According to the previous crew member, the captain of the boat of curse's cultivation wasn't even 1/10,000th of his peak. However, Lin Feng could feel that. Even though the captain of the boat of curse was now the combat power that he displayed, he was definitely at the great emperor level. It was hard to imagine how powerful the captain of the boat of curse was when he was at his peak. "Attack together and kill him!" The creatures in the black fog roared furiously. Each of them was filled with killing intent. A terrifying aura emanated from their bodies. More than 20 creatures in the black fog attacked at the same time. Chapter 26-28. The combined attack of more than 20 living beings in the black fog was naturally a peerless and terrifying attack. Ordinary people would only feel despair when facing such a powerful attack. However, the captain of the Boat of Curses had used the Great Fate Art. Although the captain of the Boat of Curses had only grasped a trace of the true essence of fate, it was enough. The Great Fate Art was too powerful. The Great Destiny Art was far too powerful, capable of ignoring all Taoists and laws. When the captain of the Boat of Curses used the Great Fate Art, this powerful divine ability displayed its terrifying might. With a loud rumble, a river of fate flew out. This was the river of fate summoned by the Great Fate Art. All kinds of images appeared in the river of fate. It was like the images of billions of living beings in the mortal world. The lives of billions of living beings were recorded in the river of fate. This was the extraordinary part of the river of fate. It recorded the lives of all living beings. From appearance to destruction, the time was either very long or very short. The living beings in the black fog had their own destinies. Now, their destinies appeared in the river of fate. They would be destroyed by the river of fate and turned into the dust of history. They were destined to never return to the peak. Lowly living beings, you foolishly thought you were noble. Today, I will represent the true essence of fate and let you see your lowly status. You are only fit to live in the darkness. You are destined to become a pile of bones. The captain of the Boat of Curses used an extremely ancient and mysterious language to sing. Every time he sang, a powerful energy surged in the void. It was the power of fate. Summoning the river of fate was a very powerful technique of the Great Fate Art. Now that the captain of the Boat of Curses could summon the river of fate, it seemed that the captain of the Boat of Curses had a deeper understanding of the Great Fate Art. Terrifying ripples swept through the world, shaking the void. Between the heavens and the universe, waves of power that shook the void were emitted. The river of fate formed by the Great Fate Art enveloped the more than 20 living beings in the black fog. The living beings in the black fog were washed away by the power of the Tao of Fate. Crack! Crack! Their bodies began to crack. Ah, no, no, no! The living beings in the black fog screamed in horror. They did not want to die. The longer they lived, the more they wanted to continue living. The longer he lived, the more he cherished his life. The longer one lived, the more one feared death. Therefore, the creatures in the black fog were extremely afraid of death. They even wanted to live for another era. It would be even better if they could live forever. They wanted to escape from the river of fate. But after a few tries, they all ended in failure. Why is it like this? The creatures in the black fog roared. They were extremely unwilling to die here. However, they were powerless to reverse the situation. Bang, bang, bang. One by one, the living beings in the black fog exploded, their bodies and souls destroyed. Too strong! Lin Feng was filled with shock. The combat power shown by the captain of the Boat of Curse was completely beyond Lin Feng's imagination. Fate! At that moment, Lin Feng heard the voice of the Demon Lord. The Demon Lord did not say much. He was probably worried that the captain of the cursed ship would find out. Lin Feng, on the other hand, was extremely shocked. The Demon Lord had said the word fate. In that case, the captain of the cursed ship should be using the path of fate. Lin Feng knew that the captain of the cursed ship had mastered a trace of the true meaning of fate. However, the voice of the captain of the cursed ship when he chanted the spell was in a language that he did not know. Therefore, Lin Feng did not know that the captain of the cursed ship was using the path of fate. The path of fate was indeed the number one great Tao. Its power was unimaginably terrifying. It would not take long. The 20 or so creatures in the black fog would probably all be killed. Bang, bang, bang. The bodies of the creatures in the black fog kept exploding. Soon, there were only 7 or 8 of them left. But obviously, the remaining 7 or 8 creatures in the black fog could not hold on for long. Crack, crack. Their bodies were also cracking. It seemed that the last 7 or 8 creatures in the black fog were about to die. However, at that moment, a powerful wave swept across the world. Then, a huge black claw grabbed at the river of fate. Bang! The pitch-black claw viciously clawed at the river of fate. Crack, crack! The river of fate began to crack. That pitch-black claw was simply too powerful. Lin Feng guessed that the owner of the black claw should also be a creature in the black fog. However, it was a leader among the creatures in the black fog. The pitch-black claw came down again. This time, the river of fate directly exploded. 7 or 8 creatures in the black fog escaped. "My lord, please kill this person and avenge our fallen brothers." The creatures in the black fog all knelt in the void. The captain of the cursed ship narrowed his eyes and said with a cold smile, "Creatures from the previous era, I have an immortal body and control the path of fate. If you want to be enemies with me, you'd better think about how many people you'll lose." Humph! A cold snort came from the void. It should be the existence who had just attacked. A cloud of black fog spread out. It enveloped the creatures in the black fog. Then, the cloud of black fog quickly tore the void and disappeared without a trace. The creatures in the black fog left. Between heaven and earth, peace was restored. Lin Feng's expression was extremely ugly because he had completely boarded the pirate ship. He wanted to leave the cursed ship. It was simply an impossible task. Cough, cough. "How about we make a deal?" Lin Feng looked at the captain of the cursed ship and smiled embarrassedly. He wanted to negotiate with the captain of the cursed ship. He wanted to see what this guy would do to let him go. "Don't even think about escaping. You'll be a crew member of this ancient ship forever until the moment you die." The captain of the cursed ship curled his lips into a cold smile. He he he. The rest of the crew also let out a burst of strange laughter. The captain of the cursed ship went into the cabin. The cursed ship headed toward the depths of the sea. He did not know where it was going. In the next half a month, Lin Feng tried to escape, but he did not succeed. The captain of the cursed ship knew his every move like the back of his hand. Therefore, he could not escape at all. Until one night after a month. Clang! With a violent collision sound, the cursed ship seemed to have hit something and stopped. Everyone rushed out. Chapter 26-29. Who are you? How dare you stop the boat of curses? Are you tired of living? One of the crew members shouted coldly. Lin Feng looked at him and realized that it was a man in his 30s. He looked extremely handsome and was wearing a cyan robe. He looked extremely ordinary. However, this person was able to stop the boat of curses. This was enough to show how terrifying this person was. The cultivator did not say anything in response to the crew member's rebuke. Perhaps he felt that the crew member was not qualified to talk to him, so he did not answer the crew member's question. "Who are you?" the captain of the ship of curse asked. "Dugaya." The man's voice was indifferent. He was a man of few words. The captain did not know who Dugaya was. However, when Lin Feng heard the name, he was filled with excitement. He was very excited. Dugaya! He was actually Dugaya! He had been searching for him for many years. He was his father's old friend. He had actually appeared. "Uncle Dugaya, I am Lin Feng. My father asked me to look for you." Lin Feng stood on the boat of curses and shouted. Dugaya looked at Lin Feng. When he saw Lin Feng, a slight smile appeared on his cold face. Then, he looked at the captain and said, "Let him down!" The captain of the boat of curse sneered and said, "No one can get off the boat of curse. Do you think I'll let him off just because you asked me to? Who do you think you are? What a joke! If you don't let him go, I'll tear your boat apart." Dugaya raised his right hand and slashed out a beam of sword energy. The beam of sword energy was 1,000 meters long. It was like a Milky Way. It traversed heaven and earth. This guy thinks he's infallible. He wants to use a beam of sword energy to break the cursed barrier? Is he daydreaming? You'll know how foolish your actions are in a moment. The crew members on the boat of curses looked at Duguya with ridicule. They knew how powerful the cursed light shield of the ship of curses was. They didn't think that Duguya could break the cursed light shield of the boat of curse with just one sword chi. This person called Duguya actually dared to intercept the boat of curse. He was simply courting death. Even the living beings of the previous era were no match for the captain. What more this person? At this moment, even Lin Feng was extremely nervous. After the initial excitement, Lin Feng has now recovered. He knew how terrifying the captain of the boat of curse was. Therefore, he couldn't help but worry for Duguya. At this moment, Duguya's sword chi slashed down on the cursed light barrier. What happened next left everyone dumbfounded. Puff! A tearing sound could be heard. That cursed light barrier was actually torn into two halves. However, the terrifying sword chi did not dissipate. Instead, it slashed toward the boat of curse. Hurry up and dodge. The crew of the boat of curse screamed in horror. They didn't expect Duguya to be so powerful that he could tear apart the cursed light shield so easily. After such a long time, this was the first time they'd seen something like this. The captain of the boat of curse's face suddenly darkened. He quickly struck out and swept his fist toward the dazzling sword chi. Clang! It was accompanied by a sonorous and powerful sound of impact. The captain of the boat of curse blocked the sword chi that Duguya had just unleashed. Duguya walked step by step toward the boat of curse. All the crew members on the boat of curse felt a suffocating pressure. Lin Feng also looked at Duguya in shock. This was an old friend of his father's. He was actually so powerful. It was truly shocking. This was something that Lin Feng hadn't expected. Very good. You're a decent opponent. The captain of the boat of curse looked coldly at Duguya, then began to summon the river of fate again. O mighty river of fate, please descend and punish this lowly existence who dares to blaspheme fate. As the captain of the boat of curse's incantation fell, a loud rumbling sound once again resounded between heaven and earth. The river of fate quickly flew up and enveloped Duguya. The path of fate. The path of fate, Duguya muttered to himself. But then his expression turned indifferent. Unfortunately, your path of fate is only at the beginner level. 6. Paths of Reincarnation. Duguya's hands formed a series of seals. Behind him, 6 huge black holes appeared. The 6 black holes began to distort the entire world. It was as if it was about to become a distorted world. The 6 paths of reincarnation. It was unknown what sort of divine ability this was. When this divine ability was used, everyone felt as if they were about to fall into the cycle of reincarnation. The path of reincarnation? Lin Feng's heart seemed to be in turmoil. The great reincarnation art was the foundation of the path of reincarnation. However, the great reincarnation art wasn't the path of reincarnation with the strongest offensive power. There were tens of thousands of paths of reincarnation. Lin Feng sensed that the 6 paths of reincarnation Duguya had used, it should also be a type of path of reincarnation. Of course, he wasn't sure whether it was or not. After all, it was just Lin Feng's guess. When the 6 paths of reincarnation art was used, it was really shocking. The 6 distorted black holes seemed to be connected to the legendary 6 paths of reincarnation world. The river of fate was directly swallowed by the 6 distorted black holes. Oh my God! The captain's great reincarnation art was broken by that person! Screams of horror could be heard one after another. The crew members of the boat of curse were so scared that their faces turned pale. Impossible! The captain of the boat of curse couldn't believe what he was seeing. He roared in disbelief. There was actually someone in the world who could break the great reincarnation art. This was simply unbelievable. Rumble! A loud sound resounded through the world. The 6 huge black holes directly attacked the captain of the boat of curse. Fist of fate break! The captain of the boat of curse roared. He swung his fist at the 6 black holes. Bang! Along with the sound of a violent collision, there was a loud sound. The body of the captain of the boat of curse exploded. Lin Feng quickly rushed out of the boat of curse. The 6 huge black holes bombarded the boat of curse. Bang! 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 The bodies of the crew members of the boat of curse all exploded. The boat of curse also began to crack. It couldn't withstand the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation. Run! Master Martin screamed in horror. But Master Martin couldn't escape. His body directly exploded. His body and soul were destroyed on the spot. Master Martin was caught in his own trap. He originally wanted to plot against Lin Feng, but now he died on the boat of curse. The next moment, the boat of curse was completely destroyed by the 6 black holes. The hull was completely fragmented. Chapter 2630. Looking at the destroyed boat of curse, Lin Feng's heart was filled with deep shock. Dugiya's cultivation was too terrifying. It was really hard to imagine. Looking at the starry sky, there were probably not many existences who could contend with Dugiya, right? Uncle Dugiya! I've finally found you! Lin Feng looked at Dugiya excitedly. Find Dugiya. He would know where his mother was suppressed. This was an extremely important matter for Lin Feng. Save his mother. That was Lin Feng's goal. Now, for this goal, Lin Feng persevered and worked hard to cultivate and improve his cultivation. When I saw you back then, you were still in swaddling clothes. After so many years, it feels like a lifetime has passed. Dugiya sighed and then said, Come back with me. Let's talk in detail. Lin Feng nodded. He left with Dugiya. After Lin Feng and Dugiya left, splashing sounds could be heard. The boat of curse that had sunk to the bottom of the sea rushed out again. At this time, the boat of curse had been restored to its original state. The boat of curse was also an immortal boat. Even if it was damaged, it could be quickly repaired. Even Lin Feng's Xianyuan ancient starship did not have the powerful repair ability of the boat of curse. The boat of curse's powerful repair ability might have something to do with it being cursed. The piles of bones on the boat of curse were reorganized. Black fog rolled. They turned into flesh and blood again. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Grandpa Martin cried out in horror. He died on the boat of curse. His body and soul should have been destroyed. However, when he was killed, the power of curse poured into his remnant soul. In the end, Grandpa Martin also turned into a cursed creature and became a part of the boat of curse. Welcome the new member. The captain of the boat of curse looked at Grandpa Martin gloomily. Welcome the new member. Welcome the new member. Welcome the new member. Many crew members shouted, full of excitement. The boat of curse welcomed a new crew member. The crew members were in high spirits. Endless enmity shot out from Grandpa Martin's eyes. Dugiya Lin Feng. You've caused me so much pain. Grandpa Martin will sooner or later let you die without a burial ground. There's a saying that goes, those who are unjust are doomed to destruction. Grandpa Martin could only blame himself for ending up like this. However, Grandpa Martin blamed Dugiya and Lin Feng for his current predicament. Captain, what should we do now? That Dugiya is too formidable, and we're probably unable to make a move against that kid, one of the crew members said. The captain of the boat of curse looked gloomy. He said, When a poisonous snake hunts its prey, it will hide and not move. It will look for a golden opportunity and then kill it with one strike. Don't worry. Let's continue to wait for an opportunity. If a baby eagle doesn't try to fly again and again, how can it fly to the 9th heaven? An expert like Dugiya naturally understood this logic. Since he understood it, he would not continue to follow that brat. Otherwise, how could that brat grow? Therefore, we will have plenty of opportunities. Captain is wise. The crew members immediately cheered. Rumble! The boat of curse emitted a series of sounds that crushed the void. The boat of curse tore through the void and disappeared without a trace. No one knew where it went. Southern Immortal Sea, Chaotic Spirit Ocean. Dugiya's cave abode. This was where Dugiya cultivated in seclusion. The layout was very simple. Lin Feng followed Dugiya into the cave abode. Lin Feng had countless questions for Dugia. Dugia said, I know you have a lot of questions in your heart. You can ask anything you want to know about your father and mother. Where is my mother being suppressed? Lin Feng asked. She's being suppressed in the falling immortal starfield. It's an extremely dangerous place in the depths of the starry sky world. That place is also the main camp of the creatures in the black fog. Dugia said. Why did the creatures of the previous era suppress my mother? Lin Feng asked with a gloomy expression. I'm not particularly sure about that. Dugia said. Uncle Dugu, do you have an ancient starry sky map that leads to that starry sky? Lin Feng asked. Dugia shook his head and said, I don't have it here, but it's said that you can find it in the Undying Realm. The Undying Realm. Lin Feng narrowed his eyes. The Undying Realm! The Undying Realm again! It seemed that he had to find a time to go there. I know you want to save your mother, but what you need to do now is to raise your cultivation base. Dugia said. My father has already gone to save my mother, but he had just recovered. I'm afraid that he'll suffer a calamity. Lin Feng voiced his worries. Your father's body is indeed very problematic, Dugia said with a sigh. In Lin Feng's memory, his father had always been sick and had been tormented by an illness. It was only later that Lin Feng learned that his father had once been a god. Lin Feng realized that he knew very little about his father. He had many questions to ask Dugia. What kind of person is my father? Lin Feng asked. Dugia said, Your father was a heroic and charismatic person. I remember that the first time we met was in the demon realm. At that time, I got to know your father, and it was also in the demon realm that I got to know your mother. Devil realm. Lin Feng muttered to himself. It was one of the top 7 great worlds among the 3,000 great worlds. In the devil realm, experts were as common as clouds. How is my father's cultivation base? Lin Feng asked. This was a topic that he was very concerned about. He felt that his father must have been very powerful back then, but as for what kind of cultivation base, Lin Feng couldn't determine. How much do you know about your father? Dugia asked. Lin Feng said. Ever since I could remember, my father had always been injured. His meridians were all broken. Later on, a friend of mine refined spirit liquid and healed my father's injuries. After he recovered, he left the clan, saying that he was going to save my mother. He then told me to find you and follow you in cultivation. Dugia said. Actually, your father's injuries weren't healed by the spiritual liquid your friend refined. The reason why he said that was because he hoped to give you the confidence to cultivate the Tao. He wanted you to know how important it is to become a powerful cultivator and master all kinds of powerful auxiliary professions. You can even save the lives of your loved ones. Hearing Dugia's words, Lin Feng fell silent. He felt that it was possible. He had been very young back then. There were many things that his father couldn't tell him, because at that age, if he suddenly knew too many things, his mind wouldn't be able to take it.